the walk through the tunnel. The Virginia Tech Hokies about to touch the Hokie Stone, and when they hit the field at Lane Stadium, this place will erupt. Virginia Tech in search of another title. North Carolina comes calling in Blacksburg tonight. Welcome to ESPN's College Football Primetime, served by Applebee's. Tonight, Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. One of the most intimidating venues in all of college football. And there's not much better than watching 66,000 strong welcome their Hokies. The wind chill feels like it's about 20 degrees. That's not the reason I have goosebumps right now. One of the great moments in college football is seeing Virginia Tech run onto the field, and the Hokies once again are in search of a championship. A victory tonight would assure that Virginia Tech would do no worse than having a share of the ACC Coastal. A date with Virginia awaits to end the regular season, but North Carolina is in the house tonight. Glad to have you with us Thursday night in Blacksburg, a staple on the Thursday night tour. Reese Davis, Craig James, Jesse Palmer, Jen Brown is down amongst the throne working on the field. Now, you look at this game right now, and Virginia Tech has an opportunity to win a 5th ACC title in 8 years in the league. They've been the standard-bearing program. One of the reasons, Jesse, the second half of this year they've been so strong, much improved in dynamic offense.
When you look at Virginia Tech offensively, they're very balanced. They run the football, they throw the football, they keep you guessing as a defense. And since Frank Beamer took over as head coach 25 years ago, they've been a run-first offense. And they feature a Heisman Trophy candidate, an outstanding athlete, and the nation's leading rusher in David Wilson. He was clocked at a sub-4.3 40-yard dash, and as a result is a true home run threat to score every time he touches the football. If David Wilson can get the running game going tonight early, it sets up big plays for quarterback Logan Thomas in the passing game. The 6'6", 260-pound sophomore has been a difference maker for this football team since a loss earlier this season against Clemson. He has elite arm strength. He's a tremendous runner. This North Carolina defense is going to have their hands full corralling these two playmakers from Virginia Tech.
And the Tar Heel defense is led by perhaps the top defensive lineman in the country in Quentin Coples. But Craig, if the Tar Heels have a chance to pull the upset tonight, they need production on offense.
For North Carolina to compete, they cannot afford to be Bud Foster. Longtime defensive coordinator here at Virginia Tech, has made a living and a career out of forcing quarterbacks into making mistakes. Bryn Renner's a good player. As his coach tells us, he says this guy's got game. He's going to have all of that tonight. More mental than physical because of what Foster does with his defenses. He's completed 71% of his passes. He does have 19 touchdown passes on the season. He can spin it. He can throw all the balls, but it's the complicated defense that he'll have to face. Now, on the ground, Giovani Bernard. You see he's second among freshmen in the country in rushing, 100 yards a game. They're going to have production on the ground to take the pressure off Renner, because Bud Foster will dial it back if they just start throwing it.
And potentially a milestone night for Frank Beamer as he goes for victory number 250. North Carolina, Virginia Tech, kickoff coming. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Virginia Tech hosting North Carolina in Blacksburg tonight. Hokies hoping to clinch at least a share of the ACC Coastal. North Carolina won the toss and deferred. Virginia Tech will receive. Here is Frank Beamer in his 25th season at his alma mater, 249 career wins. That's the most among active coaches. If he wins tonight, he'll break a tie for 8th place with our own Lou Holtz. And here is Everett Withers in his first year as the interim head coach. Withers took over for Butch Davis after he was fired 6 weeks before this season started. North Carolina 6-4 in Withers' first season as a head coach at any level. If you look at the crowd, you see it's a little bit of a chilly night. We are underway, and it is a short kickoff, and it is grabbed by David Wilson. Wilson, who has 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns in his career, stopped just short of the 30. Just a few moments ago, Jen Brown was on the field.
Coach, a win tonight gives you your 8th straight 10-win season. What does that say about your program?
Well, we're proud of our consistency here, but we got to work tonight. This is a good football team, very talented football team.
And 2 years ago, UNC came in here and upset your team with the last-second field goal. How do you guard against an upset tonight?
Well, we've had good practices, and I think we're well aware of what they're capable of doing on the other side of the field. So we just got to come out and play a great football game.
Right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Bryn?
Jen, Frank, thank you. 1st and 10, Logan Thomas. Big 6'6" quarterback for the Hokies is hit from behind immediately, and the football's loose, and North Carolina's right on top of it. It was Sylvester Williams who knocked it free. Zach Brown saying the Tar Heels have it. Now the officials agree. There is a flag down on the field. Tydreek Powell got the fumble recovery. Let's see what the call is from Ron Cherry. You want me?
On the play, illegal formation, offense. Ball was recovered on the defense.
So an illegal shift was called. Here's the first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, on the inside, Sylvester Williams just beats the man up front. This ball was supposed to have been 1, 2, 3 out, and it didn't happen on time. It just a discombobulated play.
So North Carolina gets its first snap of the night from the Virginia Tech 20. Bryn Renner is the quarterback. Renner's father, Bill, was a punter at Virginia Tech. See how Bryn handles the nerves. Hokies showing some blitz. Giovani Bernard is hit in the backfield. Kyle Fuller coming from his defensive back position to knock Bernard down for the loss. Here is the quarterback for the Tar Heels, who's had a little bit of an up-and-down season.
Bryn Renner is a first-year starter, and as a result, makes a lot of mistakes. But he has natural playmaking ability, and as a result, he's the 7th most efficient passer right now in the country. Has to make smart decisions against what can be a very confusing Virginia Tech defense.
On 2nd and 12, Renner quickly kicks it out. White Jones has it. Jones working his way inside the 10. He'll have a first down. It'll be 1st and goal for the Tar Heels.
This is supposed to be a run play, but Bryn Renner sees a one-on-one matchup outside to his physical wide receiver, Dwight Jones, 6'4", 225 pounds, spits it out, gets it into his hands early. Jones does the rest.
The thing about Renner that impresses you and really surprised me was how strong his arm is. It's one thing to have Jones out there with a one-on-one, but the zip of that football to get it in his receiver's hands so he could turn up the field and make the first guy miss, very impressive.
1st and goal for North Carolina, trying to strike first. Giovani Bernard, circle button, touchdown. And the Tar Heels take advantage of the early turnover. They've been excellent in red zone touchdown percentage. And the freshman out of Davie, Florida, gets the Tar Heels on the board.
Yeah, Nelson Hurst, the tight end on the left side, has the touchdown block here. Once the spin move is made, the tight end backside is what allowed Bernard to get to the end zone.
Well, Bernard is North Carolina's first 1,000-yard rusher since 1997, and he flat put J.R. Collins in the spin cycle, and the Tar Heels have quieted his 87th consecutive sellout crowd at Lane Stadium. And Everett Withers, the former defensive coordinator of this squad, sees his defense make a big play, forcing the turnover from Logan Thomas. Then Bernard with the nifty run, and the Tar Heels taking upset. They have the early lead at Blacksburg. Back in Blacksburg, Virginia, home of Virginia Tech, the Hokies going for their 8th straight 10-win season, but North Carolina turns an early turnover into a touchdown. That is the man who caused the turnover, Sylvester Williams. And the first snap for Virginia Tech stripped Logan Thomas. Tyreek Powell recovered. And for the second time tonight, David Wilson turn a kickoff. He's got a little gap, and he's got great speed. Wilson gets it across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Sean Tapley might have saved a touchdown.
A lot of people very curious to see how North Carolina would start this game. 2 weeks ago in a shutout loss against NC State, a lot of their players said before the game, maybe not taking it serious enough. Guys were joking around in the locker room, and the results showed. Hasn't been the case tonight. They've come out and made a statement on both sides of the ball.
Didn't get much of a look at Logan Thomas. In the first series, he was hit from behind and fumbled. Now with his second snap of the night. He'll throw it out quickly to Jarrett Boykin. Boykin gets across the 40-yard line as we take a look at our impact players when the Hokies have it.
Wide receiver Danny Cole has to be a playmaker for Logan Thomas, especially on third down. He's the best route runner on this team. It's senior night. He's got to have a big game here in his final one at Lane Stadium.
Well, and so does David Wilson, and this guy leads the nation in rushing. Watch when he spins, when people are trying to tackle him. He doesn't lose any speed, and he's going north before you can tackle him.
You keep your eye on Quentin Coples, the defensive end, but his line mates have already made the big plays as there is movement in the middle of the line, and North Carolina appears to have jumped off sides. Tyreek Powell is the man who was caught for being offside, and the man who recovered the fumble earlier gives Virginia Tech a first down.
This defensive line is very anxious right now. They've gotten some great jumps so far early in this game. Nice job by Logan Thomas mixing up the snap count, try and slow this pass rush down.
He has 4 seniors on that offensive line. They'll hold their water. They're not going to get antsy and jump. They can listen to that hard count and stay in there.
There is Coples. You see him at the bottom of the screen. Pressure on Thomas again. Logan chased out of the pocket, and he gets up close to midfield, and that is the thing, even at his size, that he does extraordinarily well. It was Kareem Martin, the other defensive end, who applied the pressure.
Several weeks ago, I had a chance to announce the Miami-Virginia Tech game, and that was the coming out party for Logan Thomas. He was 23 of 25 in that ball game, but more importantly, Jesse, he started running with authority.
He's going to have a challenge tonight, though. This UNC defense, very fast, very athletic. They can walk him down sideline to sideline.
Carolina is showing a little corner blitz, and now Charles Brown backs out of it. It's 2nd and 8. Wilson. David Wilson showing some power and moves into Carolina territory and should have the first down.
It is absolutely critical tonight that North Carolina's defense does an excellent job with their run fits up at the line of scrimmage. They cannot allow a crease, Craig, for David Wilson to get into, because if he gets into the second level, he could be gone.
I think they have to get penetration. It's not just about holding your gap. That's important. But you can't allow David Wilson to get ahead of steam going. If he does, he's tough to bring down.
Quick pass to Boykin. Boykin's second catch on a similar play, opposite sides of the field. Good pickup on first down. It'll be 2nd and short.
You know, I mentioned we all 3 did this game against Georgia Tech last week. Logan Thomas, he can run the ball, but his passing is impressive.
He really has skills that a lot of quarterbacks on Sundays don't have. His arm strength, you can see why this coaching staff was eagerly anticipating him taking over for Tyrod Taylor. He possesses all the tools you look for in a marquee quarterback.
To the ground to David Wilson. Wilson gets up close to the first down marker. Looks as if he's going to be just short. You were talking about the skills that Logan Thomas possesses. Thomas, when he came to Virginia Tech, did not want any part of playing quarterback. He saw himself as a tight end, thought that was his ticket to the pros, but that big bright arm sort of had Brian Steinspring and Frank Beamer thinking otherwise.
Normally, they convert tight ends into offensive tackles. That wasn't the case with Logan Thomas. He's warmed up to the concept of playing quarterback. I think he realizes he has an opportunity to play at the next level, and he has been a tremendous leader for this football team here in the second half of the season.
Watch a quarterback sneak here. It was very effective against Georgia Tech. Logan still pushing forward, and it appears that he's got enough of the first down.
Yeah, we watched this last week, and one time I said to you, Reese, well, it's 4th and 6, just out of quarterback sneak range. And the reason it's so effective is obviously he's a big-bodied guy, but he steps back and he finds that gap, little crease, and just you can't get to his legs to bring him down.
They were excellent on 3rd down last week. 10 of 16s on that critical down and distance. They need to have similar success tonight. Stay on the field, possess the football, and allow their defense to be fresh every time they get back on.
Thomas picks up the first down. Wilson's with him. Pressure coming. Wilson makes the first guy miss. It'll be a very short gain. Might have just gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
Man, did you see Wilson make that miss in the backfield? Great runners have to do that from time to time. He helps this offensive line out, and that's how, though, that you stop David Wilson. You don't let him get started.
Yeah, you know, Craig, I think Virginia Tech is going to spread the field a lot tonight and see how UNC responds to it. 2 weeks ago, NC State spread the field, and they had a lot of success running the football. I think that's something Virginia Tech wants to try and establish early, running David Wilson out of one-back sets.
8th play of the drive coming. Thomas avoids one, finds Boykin, and an excellent tackle by Charles Brown to keep Boykin from reaching the first down marker. Zach Brown was the guy applying the pressure.
I like this look here on the defensive line. You see how there's a lot of bodies up there, which makes the offensive line wonder who's coming, who's dropping. Watch the flyby. When you get to Logan Thomas, you better bring him down or he'll hurt you.
I think UNC has to win their one-on-one battles up front at the line of scrimmage. Reese mentioned Quentin Coples a moment ago. He's going to fight a lot of double and triple teams tonight. Those other players that are in one-on-one matchups, they have to win and try and bring Logan Thomas down.
I don't know if he did it on purpose, but Sylvester Williams just kicked the ball back a little bit. The official caught him and moved it back up to the original spot. He might have just bumped it with his foot, or he might have been trying to get himself a half yard.
Critical 3rd down here again.
Showing pressure. Logan fires high, and pressure has been the one area the last couple of games in which Logan Thomas has not performed well. He's just 3 of 15 in the previous 2 games with 2 interceptions when the defense brings an extra rusher, but now on 4th and 4, leaving the offense out on the field. Long field goal of the year for Cody Journell has only been 41 yards, so they're right on the edge of his range. So Beamer decides to go for it on 4th down for the 11th time this season.
This is a formation where a lot of times Logan Thomas is almost like a tailback with an extra blocker next to him.
And the blitz is coming again. Thomas fires into traffic, and it was broken up. An excellent play by the middle linebacker, Kevin Reddick, and North Carolina gets a stop. Jordan Nix applying some pressure.
You see Quentin Coples as well, able to get in the backfield. Great stand by UNC, able to force turnover on downs. It's been a good start for the Tar Heels.
This is Hokie Stone. It's a gray limestone named for the Hokie mascot of Virginia Tech, and they cut it up and make smaller pieces. It's the finishing stone of many of the beautiful buildings here on campus. A spectacular setting here at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, nestled in the Virginia Hills. Great place not only for the school, but also a great place for college football. North Carolina, the 2nd possession of the night. Bryn Renner has his pass completed. It's Mookie Highsmith who made the grab, and North Carolina off to a good start in the first quarter. And that's really been key for them. In the 6 games the Tar Heels have won this year, they've outscored their opponents 49-0 in the first quarter. In the 4 losses, they've been outscored by 23. So Everett Withers has his squad off to a good start.
And high completion throws early for Bryn Renner as well. Nice job by John Shoup getting him into a rhythm.
2nd and 7. Bernard, who had the touchdown. Giovani Bernard into the Hokie secondary and up to the 45-yard line. It'll be a first down for the Heels. Pickup of 16.
Yeah, there are a lot of Virginia Tech defenders over on the left side, and still, look at all the bodies and the helmets, but they're not staying in their gaps. That's not a Bud Foster defense.
UNC wants to run the football, but they want to be patient running the football. They don't expect to dominate the line of scrimmage all night tonight, but they think 3-yard carries in the first quarter turn into 4-yard carries in the second quarter, turn into 5+ second half.
And a tight formation. Bernard, he is slippery and just picked up a couple when it looked as if there was nothing there. Now Virginia Tech, Bud Foster told us over the last couple of weeks, really an unprecedented run of injuries. Bruce Taylor, coming into this game, was still the leading tackler on the team despite having missed the last couple after he injured his foot. Jaron Gavea-Winslow also hurt his left foot. Antoine Hopkins, the defensive lineman, is out with an ACL. Gavea-Winslow's backup, Alonzo Tweedy, is not playing in this game. He's got an ankle injury. So the Hokies have had to patch things together a little bit on defense. On 2nd and 8, couple of fakes. Renner firing a dart, and it's right on the money to Jones, and the Tar Heels are on the move again.
Bryn Renner told us this week, Dwight Jones' best route is the dagger route. It's a deep in, and here a little wrinkle by offensive coordinator John Shoup, faking the handoff, faking the reverse, and nice anticipation on the throw on Dwight Jones' best route.
One thing about Shoup, the offensive coordinator, is you don't know what he's going to do with the ball. We've seen lateral passes to wide receivers who throw the ball deep. We've seen it pitchbacks to the quarterback. You have to keep your eyes open and be disciplined against this offense.
Back to the ground with Bernard. Giovani down to the 25.
This Virginia Tech defense is going to be challenged tonight to be lined up properly each and every snap. John Shoup is the master at using formations, shifts, motions to try and get a defense misaligned.
At this point here, Virginia Tech's defense is wandering with those eyes. They're not playing aggressive, and that's because the running game has started off so strong. Jesse, they've gone straight from just 2. They're gone right to the 4- and 5-yard gains.
On 2nd and 7, Bernard is hitting the backfield. He kept his feet, but he's going to get nothing. It'll be 3rd down and 7 coming from North Carolina.
Yeah, I think this is a point in the field here for Bryn Renner that he has to make 4- and 5-yard gains and give himself a chance to go for it on 4th down, because this football team only has 5 field goal attempts on the season.
He has to understand right now to be smart with the football and take the points. Give his team an opportunity to score again on only their 2nd drive playing on the road in a hostile environment.
Ryan Houston is checked in as running back for North Carolina. Renner fires on the money. He's got Jones again. Jones near the 15-yard line, and it'll be enough for a North Carolina 1st down.
The size at wide receiver for UNC has to demonstrate itself tonight. Dwight Jones, 6'4", 225, going against a much smaller Jaron Hosley, 5'10", 171 pounds. These receivers, Craig, being much more physical right now in the perimeter.
I went back and watched Miami's game against North Carolina, Clemson, NC State. At times a very good offense. They are hot right now, as hot as I watched in any of those games.
Bernard. Nifty move for Giovani Bernard, and he is down to about 12-yard line. Pickup of about 4.
We talked about the importance of Virginia Tech getting lined up. Defensive coordinator Bud Foster decided to make a key personnel move. He's taking Eddie Whitley, normally a rover, plays in the box a lot. He's being moved back to free safety. He's a senior. He can communicate with this defense, get everybody lined up the way they're supposed to be against this shifting and moving offense from John Shoup.
2nd and 6. And inside, handoff to TJ Thorpe. And Thorpe is going to be a couple of yards short of the 1st down. It'll bring up 3rd and short for North Carolina. And North Carolina has been excellent at scoring touchdowns once they get into the red zone. They've been top 10 in the country in red zone touchdown percentage. This year, not a lot of trips there. They're 30 of 37 scoring, but they have 28 touchdowns in those 37 trips. Craig mentioned it earlier. They don't try many field goals.
They have 5, and they missed 2 of them. I mean,
5 is tied for the fewest attempts in the country.
Yeah, so I mean, that's why I was saying it was 4-down territory. from their mindset.
The bigger back Houston, the I back now, and he has it. Ryan Houston powering down to the 5-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for North Carolina.
Ryan Houston is the battering ram in this North Carolina offense. 23 career touchdown rushes for a total of 65 yards. That's an average of less than 3 yards per touchdown. You get in this area of the field, it's not hard to figure out who's carrying the rock.
Well, and that man that Bud Foster's moving around, Eddie Whitley, you were talking about, his 200 pounds is not good enough for that 245.
Don't like those odds.
You better get a little help coming from a partner somewhere.
Houston. Did the football come loose? I believe it did. And Virginia Tech gets the turnover. It is Derek Hopkins with the recovery. Antone Exum made the strip, and Virginia Tech stops a big threat with a huge play on defense.
North Carolina leads the ACC in turnovers with 22. This Bud Foster defense has made a living since he's been here and turning the football over for his offense. That's exactly what the Hokies needed.
And exactly what the Tar Heels didn't need. North Carolina up 7-0. Time for tonight's Saturday menu, brought to you by Applebee's. A huge game in the Big Ten Legends. Nebraska and Michigan both trying to keep pace right behind Michigan State. And of course, the de facto, what I'm calling the Pac-12 championship game, USC and Oregon, because nobody else in the Pac-12 South right now ought to be in anything called a championship game.
I did the Michigan game last Saturday at Illinois. Greg Madison has the Wolverines defense playing far better than they have in the last several years.
On 1st down from the end zone, Chris Drager couldn't quite hold on to the pass from Logan Thomas. It'll be 2nd and 10. Now I want to show you what happened after Ryan Houston fumbled a moment ago. The young quarterback, Bryn Renner, goes over to console the senior. And you think this doesn't mean something to these kids? Houston shedding tears after letting the ball go. He'll get a chance to bounce back. He converted a key 3rd down in that drive, but a costly fumble denied North Carolina an opportunity to perhaps make this a 2-touchdown lead. After the incompletion, Virginia Tech looking at 2nd and 10. Boykin, a quick pass. Boykin, he dropped the football too. It's a chilly night, but fortunately for him, he was close to the sideline. It was after he picked up the 1st down.
Seen a lot of careless play with the football early. That was the 3rd time the football's been on the ground in only 4 possessions of this football game.
Well, it's a cold night, Reese. It's not cool. Let's get that straight. And look at the long sleeves on these receivers. I never liked that as a ball carrier because the ball is cold and hard and brittle on a cold night. And with those sleeves, there's nothing to really put your arms against and hold on to it.
Boykin got enough for the 1st, and Boykin will get another chance. And this time he didn't fumble it. He just never caught it. They're calling it incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10, and for the all-time leading receiver in Virginia Tech history, it probably needs to be caught.
North Carolina liking this start here defensively, getting in 2nd 10 multiple times.
We've seen tonight, Everett Withers, this defense of North Carolina, they're going to send pressure after Logan Thomas. They are not going to allow him to sit back and take dead aim at them. They're going to add a 5th, 6th defender, try to affect that accuracy.
Where's David Wilson? That's a guy that you have, Reese, at number, what, 3 on your ballot?
4, but close. Close. Yeah. Could move anywhere 3-1. The play clock is down to 5, and the Hokies haven't gotten off to a razor-sharp start on either side of the football tonight. Quick timeout, 2nd and 10 for Virginia Tech when you come back. Friday night, you'll get a chance to look at that Brandon Wheaton, who's starting to make a run in the Heisman Trophy race. His favorite target, Dustin Blackman. That dynamic duo goes in Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa. Joe Tessitore, Rod Gilmore will be there, 8 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Oklahoma State and Iowa State. 2nd down and 10. Oglesby's in the backfield with Wilson. Again, the Tar Heels being pressure. Thomas got rid of it quickly. Danny Cole made the catch at the 25. He'll be about 3 short of the first down.
This North Carolina defense does not want to give up any big plays tonight. Right now, doing a very good job keeping the football in front of them where they're able to go react, setting up now a 3rd and manageable. But again, here's where you expect pressure.
Well, the coaching staff at North Carolina said the last 2 weeks, the secondary has really played with a lot of consistency and continuity. You can see the route recognition already in this game. They've got a good game plan for this Virginia Tech offense.
David Wilson again not on the field. It's Oglesby. 3rd and 3. Oglesby at the fake. Logan Thomas kept it, and the big fella gets it up to the 30-yard line for the first down.
There is little answers for quarterbacks when they run the zone read so well and when they're 250 pounds.
You can run the football right into the teeth of the blitz and still come out the other side with a first down. You know, when you have a quarterback that's 6'6", 260, he can wear a defense down. And there's David Wilson right now on the sideline with a jacket on.
See if we can find out an update and see if something happened to Hokie star running back or if he's just staying warm. Oglesby does play. It's not unusual to see Josh in the backfield. Thomas hit as he throws, and he had to get rid of it and just threw it out of bounds. The pressure was coming from the senior Jordan Nix.
Now this defensive line, look at the look. There are 3 linemen covered on the left side. There's a big bubble to the right, and the offensive line doesn't look like they're real comfortable in who they're supposed to pick up with that formation.
I mean, look, it's only the first quarter, but I'd have to say that offensive line's getting whipped right now is what's happening by North Carolina's defensive line.
The strength of North Carolina's defense is that defensive line, and they go 8 deep. They're going to rotate guys all game long. They do not care on the down, distance, or situation. Lots of talent.
All right, Wilson's on the field, and he's coming in motion. Counter, Oglesby has it. Oglesby running tough across the 35-yard line. And stopped about the 36 by Jonathan Smith.
I like the play call. You know, this defense is keying on David Wilson. You use him as a decoy on that route, allow Oglesby to get outside, earn positive yards, set yourself up for another 3rd management.
It's been a great first quarter by North Carolina's football team. They're disappointed, I'm sure, they don't have 14 points.
In Carolina's 6 wins, they've given up no points in the first quarter. Hokies didn't score in the opening frame. Ready to start the second quarter. Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. Number 8 Virginia Tech trying for its 10th win of the season and hoping to sew up at least a share of the ACC Coastal, but North Carolina hasn't been cooperating. Not in the first quarter. The Tar Heels took advantage of a turnover, cashed it in, and missed another opportunity to score when they committed a turnover of their own. And now Logan Thomas and the Hokies looking at a 3rd down and long 3. Thomas fires to Danny Cole. First down, Virginia Tech.
Jesse, I think this offensive line is going to have to get a lot more comfortable with that front look that North Carolina's given them. That 7 walked up across the line, 3 dropping out.
And Logan Thomas can help them out, Craig. You see on that last play, taking his time with the cadence. He checked the protection at the line of scrimmage, moved his running back to the left side, made sure he was protected, got the look he wanted before throwing the completion.
David Wilson back in the game and has the ball. Wilson wrapped up by Sylvester Williams. Sylvester has had a good quarter plus.
Sylvester Williams hasn't played a lot of football. In fact, he only played 1 year of high school before he went to a factory to start building radiator parts for large trucks. He then decided to go play JUCO before coming here to UNC. He's had a tremendous impact really for a guy that really hasn't played a lot of football.
Guy's got a diesel engine underneath that jersey, I'm telling you now.
Second and 9. Thomas firing quickly to Boykin. Boykin's had several catches in the quick game. He's up to the 47. Going to be about 4 yards short of the first down.
It's a couple times now on this drive that Virginia Tech has been able to find significant yardage on second down. They've been forced with second and long. They've gotten that yardage back. That's allowed them to keep these third downs manageable, stay on the field.
Until they get David Wilson lathered up and in a groove and rhythm in this football game. Logan Thomas with his legs. Maybe he needs to open up that North Carolina defense.
This defense right now needs to be anticipating a short throw. These D linemen get their hands up. Try to bat this down. If you can't get to Logan Thomas, make the sack.
Zach Brown has tremendous speed. He's number 47. He got caught up trying to blitz, but hot on the heels of Thomas was Tyree Powell, and Thomas got it to Danny Cole. That's some serious arm strength and a first down for Virginia Tech inside the Carolina 35.
Danny Cole is a senior, and you know that by watching him on this route. It's the scramble rules outside. In fact, this is DJ Cole's working back to his quarterback. Once Logan Thomas breaks contain, that's exactly how you practice it each and every week.
What impressed me on that, guys, was Logan Thomas running, avoiding the sack, and throwing a bullet downfield. That's a hard throw to make, and it was accurate. Very good job.
Seen the speed on this defense a couple of times. Came very close to walking down Logan Thomas when he scrambled.
Close ain't good enough.
Wilson is getting a hand on the shoestring of Wilson with Charles Brown to stop what could have been a big gainer. We got a player down. That's Andrew Miller, the center, who's a little slow to get up for Virginia Tech.
Seen a lot of variety so far in the running game from Virginia Tech. They've tried to use David Wilson's speed, get him outside, but they're also trying to nullify the athleticism of this UNC defense by running right at them.
Well, I think what you've got to really be concerned with if you're going against David Wilson is letting up on a play, because he will turn his direction around in a heartbeat and be gone.
Michael Vine, the backup center, practices a few snaps. This is the 13th play of Virginia Tech's drive. There's a flag that goes right around the line of scrimmage as David Wilson slips as he gets close to the 30-yard line. It's thrown where you often catch a team holding.
This is an area of the field that Virginia Tech has not been smart with the football this season on offense. 80% of their penalties have come in what we call the fringe area, from the 40-yard line going in. They've also turned the football over 3 times in their last 2 games in this area of the field. That's spiked, and that's hurt their ability to score points down deep in this area. They're able to march the football. You have to be smart. You have to have your composure when you get down on the other team's side.
Well, there's Michael Vine, the new center, who got called for the hold. He is a native of McLeansville, North Carolina. Vi in for the injured Andrew Miller. After the penalty, it's 2nd and 19.
There you go. Sorry, dude.
Logan Thomas firing deep. Was looking for DJ Coles. There was a lot of contact between Coles and Charles Brown. No flag, much to the chagrin of the 66,000 plus here. It'll be 3rd and 19.
You see the single coverage over there because the coaching staff says that Charles Brown the last 2 weeks has been really strong and had a good outing. They've got confidence to put him single out there.
He's had 2 picks in his last 2 games, Craig. If I'm Logan Thomas, the guy I'm picking on is Tim Scott, true freshman playing the other cornerback position. Those are the matchups you want to look for. That's the chess game throughout the course of this football contest, finding your best matchups on the perimeter of the field.
3rd and long, don't go to sleep. A guy like David Wilson can pick 20 up on you in a heartbeat.
Thomas just gets the snap off again. He gets pressure coming from behind him. It's Zach Brown, who's got great speed. But Thomas doesn't go down, and he gets to the 25-yard line. It's going to be very close to the first down. I think he's going to be about a half-yard short.
Logan Thomas, believe it or not, possesses a lot of the same skills that Tyrod Taylor had. He's able to extend plays with his legs. It doesn't look the same because of his frame and those long strides, but when 260 pounds gets going with momentum forward, it sets up 4th and short.
Here's the 4th down. You know what's coming. Logan Thomas The quarterback sneak, he was stopped, but he kept the legs driving, and the Hokies convert with the sneak again.
Watch how Logan Thomas is going to take a step back. Here's your area over here that he's going for. They've got to be great at getting into the gap. The coaching staff told us this week the way you stop it is you got to be gap strong when he goes to that hole.
Logan Thomas told me yesterday he taps the center on the side that he's going to plunge into, and he waits to see if that defender in that gap pinches inside. It's exactly what he did right there.
Wilson stays on his feet. He's inside the 15. Another first down for the Hokies, it appears.
David Wilson has freakish athletic ability, so much quick twitch and those muscle fibers. He's able to do things you just don't see other running backs able to do. Look at the balance on this.
Watch Jonathan Smith come up, and he kept his legs going. That's the one thing a defender has to do against a great runner. Keep your legs running through the ball carrier. He did that. But David Wilson kept his legs going just a little bit faster. Wilson, one of the premier runners in this country.
17th play of the drive that started on the Virginia Tech 5. Thomas. This time he won't be able to get away. Trey Boston was the first guy to hit him. Also there to help out was Dante Page-Moss.
I mean, and you just said it, Reese, you've got David at number 4 on your Heisman ballot. I mean, Jesse, we see a lot of runners. Guy can get after it.
No doubt about it. You know, people are going to talk about Trent Richardson. I think Monty Ball is a guy out there from Wisconsin that should get some serious consideration as well. David Wilson doesn't have the touchdowns, only 7 this year, but he's meant almost everything to this offense along with Logan Thomas.
Thomas firing toward the end zone. The grab is Chris Drager, touchdown. The Drager, who last week against Georgia Tech, the former defensive end who scored his first career touchdown, has his second touchdown. That's his 11th catch of the year. Every one of them, either a first down or a touchdown. And the Hokies, after an 18-play, 95-yard drive that ate up nearly 8 minutes, an extra point away from tie. Cody Jurnell puts it through, and we're tied.
Chris Drager's the tight end. Watch the linebacker level at North Carolina. See them all get drawn up for Mr. David Wilson. That opened up a very nice, well-known ball by Logan Thomas, man. Virginia Tech answered. They had to answer.
Senior night in Blacksburg. Virginia Tech just completed its longest drive of the season in terms of number of plays and time.
You'll see Zach Brown at linebacker, who's got his eyes in the backfield. The play fake to David Wilson forces him to freeze just 1 second, and tight end Chris Drager able to get outside leverage on the free safety Trey Boston, and a perfectly thrown ball by Logan Thomas.
That'll let your defense catch its breath a little bit. 18 plays, 7 minutes, 59 seconds. North Carolina on its previous drive had held the ball for 11 plays before fumbling at the 5-yard line. Virginia Tech took it all the way down the field and evened the game at 7. Glad to have you with us on Thursday night in the ACC. Reese Davis, Craig James, Jesse Palmer, and Jen Brown. Justin Meyer gets set to kick it away for the Hokies. TJ Thorpe, the deep man for North Carolina. Thorpe did have a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown against Clemson. Not going to get a chance this time. Tar Heels will take over on their 20. Logan Thomas tries to keep a hot hand. It's tied at 7. Our crew at a bowling tournament last night, I mean, they knocked over some pins. Joey Cruz, who's part of our Skycam team, knocked down a 213. He won the Hokie Bowl trophy.
Okay.
Wow. You get your name put on that Hokie Bowl trophy just like it's the Stanley Cup or something. Joey will be able to put M&Ms in it for a year. North Carolina has it back. Giovani Bernard picks up about 4 on first down. Saturday night, ESPN has the #1 team in the land and the #9 team in the BCS standings playing. First, #1 LSU goes in to take on the Right Reverend Houston Nutt as he winds up his career at Ole Miss. Saturday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, and then the big game, 10:15 Eastern time on ESPN. Cal and Stanford. See if Andrew Luck can bounce back against Zach Maynard and the sturdy Golden Bears. 2nd and 6 for Bryn Renner. Back on the ground, great success, first down and more, but there is a flag that came flying in. It landed at the 29-yard line. And if it is holding, it will negate a great run by Giovani Bernard and some good blocking up front. Although I guess it's possible a hold aided that. I believe they got Jonathan Cooper, number 64, the left guard. So instead of 1st and 10, the Tar Heels will be back inside their own 20, just short of their 18-yard line, and they'll be looking at 2nd and 12.
Yeah, but I tell you what I've seen here out of this Giovani Bernard is a guy who's moving fast and forcing the defense to get out of their lanes, and the ability for him to make a dramatic cut. Really impressive.
Renner better get rid of it, and he does. He had a man running open, but he couldn't quite hook up with Christian Wilson. Renner took a shot from Jack Tyler.
This defense forces quarterbacks to make perfect throws. They got a lot of orange jerseys close to the line of scrimmage, and when they throw play action, there are a lot of guys running back underneath that route. It's going to have to be a perfect throw by Bryn Renner in order to complete that ball.
Well, Virginia Tech averages nearly 3.5 sacks a game. That's #1 in the ACC, 5th in the country. If you hold on to it too long against this defensive front, you're going to the ground.
This is an area, this is a down that Bud Foster will bring pressure tonight on Bryn Renner.
Renner just threw his first incompletion of the night. He's 4 out of 5. Renner fires a dart. Well, it was complete momentarily, but Dwight Jones was unable to hold it. Jaron Hosley knocked it free. And the Tar Heels will have to send it on the punt team.
Jaron Hosley, this is a technique of how you disrupt a receiver. Watch the rip up through the football. Hosley, a guy who led the FBS in interceptions in 10 this season, coming in with that defense right there, ripping right through the football.
He plays with a chip on his shoulder, Craig. He was the last verbal commitment in the 2009 recruiting class. He takes that personally. He tries to make a statement each and every time he takes the field. Small in stature, big in heart.
Let's watch this, guys. Thomas Hibbert has had 3 punts blocked this year. A short kick. Hosley stepped up, and the flag's going to come in. The interference with the opportunity to catch the kick. Dion Guy was there and appeared to, well, not appeared to, he did. He bumped Jaron Hosley. So the field position is going to be excellent for Virginia Tech. Well, Dion got a little too close on the short kick, running down trying to cover it, and Hosley came in trying to keep the ball from bouncing. Picked up the penalty in the 15 yards. And Virginia Tech will get it back inside the North Carolina 35-yard line. Some costly mistakes by the Tar Heels as the Hokies try to take the lead.
Sylvester Williams getting a great jump on the very first play of the game, swimming, getting a strip on Logan Thomas. That would lead to an early touchdown for North Carolina head coach Everett Withers here playing on the road.
Now Everett Withers saw his team in the last series commit 2 costly penalties. One negated a first down run. The other, interference with the opportunity to catch a punt. And David Wilson trying to make him pay. Wilson into the open field. Wilson inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal, Virginia Tech.
You see a lot of bodies standing around. Watch just as he about gets the football. Look at the folks in here. You got to be coming this direction here. That's why David Wilson was able to run right by them. They were caught looking, admiring the mesh between the quarterback and Wilson.
David Wilson's favorite runs are zone runs. He likes finding his cutbacks in his lanes. Did it right there.
Wilson has it again. Hit in the backfield, keeps his legs driving. It'll be 2nd and goal. That 33-yard run to get them deep into the territory was the 28th run of 15 yards or more by David Wilson this season. That leads the country.
The impressive thing to me about David Wilson, he's not just speed. He's got a lot of power. You see him break a lot of arm tackles. He's really a much more complete running back than I think most people give him credit for.
So that's double trouble for a defense right here in this I formation. You've got a quarterback who can run you over. You've got a tailback who can run you over.
Wilson has it, 2nd and goal. Wilson not running over anybody this time. North Carolina standing up tough and tall. Trey Boston, the first guy to hit him. Darius Lipford, who got run over by Logan Thomas earlier, knocks him down, and now it's 3rd and goal from the 5.
One strike against David Wilson is that sometimes he believes in his speed too much, and there's a moment where you just got to cut the football up here near the goal line, accept a 1-2 yard loss instead of bouncing it outside, taking a more substantial loss there.
I agree with you on that. Kevin Reddick, however, on that play had come hard from the inside out, forced him to stay outside, wouldn't let him get back up north.
North Carolina's defense in the red zone has been exceptional. 4th in the country in terms of touchdown percentage. Low snap for Logan Thomas. He scooped it up. And Thomas is going to be snowed under. And remember, we saw Andrew Miller get hurt earlier in the game. It's the backup center, Michael Vine, is going to be 4th and goal.
It's just a bad snap, and that is because of the backup center. And this took the eyes of Thomas off the defense, and it becomes just hope that you can get something out of it.
Great stand by North Carolina's defense here after giving up a long run to David Wilson, tucked back deep inside their own 5-yard line. 3 consecutive plays, forcing a field goal attempt. That is a win for North Carolina on D.
Cody Jernell is on to attempt the field goal. It's a 22-yard attempt. He's been 10 of 12 inside 40 yards. Very reliable from short range. And he still is for the first time tonight. Number 8, Virginia Tech takes the lead. Hokies on top of North Carolina, 10-7. Watching SportsCenter while I was doing a little final prep work for the game tonight. And Carl Edwards, Tony Stewart had a press conference together and starting to exchange some barbs, a little trash talking going on. Stewart said at one point, they asked if, how hard he would race. He said, look, I would wreck my mom to win a championship. Then he looked at the reporter and said, I'd wreck your mom too. The kickoff goes short. A.J. Blue, running back, gets it up across the 35-yard line as we check in the studio with Wendy Nix.
Reese, thank you. Coming up on the Walmart Halftime Report, we'll talk about the merits of an LSU-Alabama rematch and what that means for college football. Plus, it's that time of year. We've got college hoops. The defending champion UConn Huskies back in action, and we'll have the highlights. I'm joined by Mark May and Lou Holtz at the half.
All right, Wendy, you know what I want to hear? I want to hear if Lou is rooting for or against Frank Beamer. Because tonight, if Frank Beamer gets the victory, he'll move past Lou Holtz on the all-time wins list, both tied at number 8 with 249 right now. Giovani Bernard gets a first down. He picks up about 11. He is the first 1,000-yard running back since 1997. This is the school as Bernard a little slow to get up. He's had great running backs in the past, but he's the first guy since 97.
He's a hard guy to find. Finding Giovani Bernard is like looking into a lunar or solar eclipse. He's only 5'10", but he runs so low to the ground.
Wow, that's a blow, and he couldn't defend himself. Yeah, hey, did you see that move, though, that dead leg move? You fake it a little bit, and then you just take off. He does a great job of setting up defenders, allowing him to go where he wants to go.
Greg, I don't think defenders can find him. I mean, this is a massive offensive line for UNC. They average 319 pounds per player up front. Because of that low running style, he oftentimes gets into that second level without even being touched the first time.
Yeah, and if Dwight Jones is able to come up with a few more yards receiving tonight, it would be the first receiver-runner combo in North Carolina history to have both have 1,000. Never had it before.
As they check on Giovani Bernard, it's good to see him moving right now. helmet-to-helmet hits, something that they've tried to really crack down on. It's a difficult thing sometimes for a defender when he's coming in full speed and the offensive guy lowers his head, but that was a tough hit from Jaron Hosley. As we check in with Jen Brown, the shot, we're not diagnosing Giovani Bernard right now, Jen, but North Carolina has a great way to keep an eye on potential head injuries for all of their players.
That's right, Reese. So UNC is actually the leader in concussion studies at the university level. They've got a doctor there, Dr. Kevin Guskowitz. He's one of the foremost authority in concussions. He's actually worked with his team quite a bit. They've got sensors in their helmets as well as sensors in their mouth guards that detect the impact that these players are taking on the field. He's actually won the Genius Grant, which is the highest level award that can be awarded for a grant for his studies. So obviously this UNC program in the forefront of all these studies, and I'm walking over right now to get a look at Bernard. Hopefully he's okay.
Well, he's sitting up now as the training staff attending to the redshirt freshman from Davie, Florida, who they said had he not been injured last year as freshman straight out of high school, he very well could have been a starter last year. He's been terrific for the Tar Heels.
Expect A.J. Blue to start getting more carries now for North Carolina in Bernard's absence. A.J. Blue, a guy that played a little bit of Wildcat quarterback position 2 years ago. Hasn't had a ton of carries this season, but I think he's the closest thing they have to Giovani Bernard.
Yeah, but he's a bigger guy, 6'2", 230.
Yep.
So it'll be a lot less shiftiness and a lot more down the hill. And certainly North Carolina hopes that Giovani Bernard is able to come back in this game.
And Bernard's brother is Evanson Bernard, who played at Oregon State and is now in the Canadian League. A.J. Blue, his first carry of the night, and he follows some good blocking to get into Virginia Tech territory. It'll be second down and short, probably about 3.5, maybe 4.
Yeah, I think this is where now the coordinator, Shoup, has to start being creative. He's got to move them around. He's got to get Virginia Tech on their heels.
We just saw an example of that, Craig, on that last play, bringing the wide receiver in motion to try and hold the backside defensive end who was unblocked.
Ryan Houston checked in at tailback. The quick give was to A.J. Blue, who was lined up front. And North Carolina is going to move the chains. Another first down.
John Shoup's going to continue running the football, and he's banking on the fact that he's going to get one big home run throw opportunity here before the end of the half. Because Virginia plays so much zone defense, they have 11 sets of eyes looking in the backfield, and they're aggressive. When they see the football, they attack. Watch for John Shoup try to dial up one downfield here before the half.
Back to Blue, and this time Blue is hit for a loss. Lost a couple. Tariq Edwards coming in from his linebacker spot among the Hokies there to make the tackle.
That right there tells you that Bud Foster's defense was well schooled Monday through Friday, understanding exactly what the down and distance, the formation. They knew the run that was coming that direction. They played very aggressive with it.
I think Bud Foster was expecting North Carolina to try and run against them in this game. Remember, Virginia Tech gave up a lot of rushing yards against Miami in the second half of that game you called? Yep. UNC watched that tape. They were going to run it. I think Bud Foster knew it.
Fake the end around. Renner fires close to first down yards. He's going to be just a little bit short as Nelson Hurst, the tight end, just his 8th catch of the year.
All that movement, you could see Virginia Tech dropping in their lanes, Jesse, but they were wondering where's the ball going. That's the beauty of all this shifts in motion.
John Shoup is the master of adding wrinkles to a given play. We had seen that zone look, that running play a couple times tonight. You see the fake reverse, they throw it to the tight end. You're going to see a lot more wrinkles and deviations from these plays tonight from John Shoup.
It's 3rd and 1, but it's a long one, maybe a yard and a half. Renner gives it to Blue. He gets the first down to the 30-yard line. North Carolina with just over 2 minutes remaining in the half, trying to move in position to regain the lead.
Yeah, the little old wham block there. Big tight end comes in motion, knocks out defensive end. That was number 80, Jack Tabb, 6'3", 240. I used to love those blocks because you knew that they weren't ready for that ear hole.
Must have been nice.
You run right behind that blocker's fanny on your way.
Would it be nice for UNC right now? It'd be to maintain possession of this ball, get a score as the final possession of this half, trying to at least tie it up going into halftime.
Renner gives it to Blue. AJ has a pickup of about 4 on first down as we check in with Jen Brown.
Reese, a quick injury update on Giovani Bernard. He suffered what they say is a neck/head injury. They've taken him back to the locker room to evaluate him. They said they're going to evaluate him at the half and determine whether or not he can return. And obviously, I'll keep you guys updated once I know more.
You know, it's a clean hit. Looking back at that replay again, the defender's head was up going in on the collision. Like you mentioned, Reese, football is a contact collision sport.
Yep. There's Jaron Hosley, the man who made the hit on Giovani Bernard. 2nd and 6. There's Renner taking his shot. And turned around out there was his receiver, Jack Tabb, who made the wham block a moment ago but couldn't find the football. It's 3rd and 6.
There's the shot that John Shoup was trying to dial up, but Craig, it's gusty with this wind. And you see the football come out of Bryn Renner's hand. Didn't come out very clean. Forced it to flutter a little bit in the end zone.
Yeah, absolutely did. And with that in mind, this is a setup play right here. Set up a short 4th down if you don't get it. And just coming back into the game, Dwight Jones. He hasn't been in there for a while. I'd find number 83, Dwight Jones. He's up on the right side. Over here on the right side for you.
Expect a shallow cross here maybe with his alignment right now.
Renner firing in. He has his man and it is caught. The Hokies are saying he's out of bounds, but the officials say that Mookie Highsmith got a foot down, and if it stands, it'll be 1st and goal for the Tar Heels.
Tremendous play call by John Shoup, moving the launch point. He is not going to allow Virginia Tech to just pin their ears back and get after Bryn Renner, allowing him to get outside the tackle box.
Now, Jesse, the official on the spot ruled this complete, but the other officials came in to help, and they have now overturned, or not overturned in terms of replay, but they got together and talked about it, and they're calling it incomplete.
I think it's a catch.
That's a catch. That is a catch. They'll go back, and it was ruled a completion on the field initially. Then overturned. So the call up to the booth is an incomplete pass.
Right, because they moved the ball back to the 26-yard line, so the initial call by the official was a completion, and then after getting together and talking it over, they've moved it back to the 26.
I think he has possession of that football, guys, right as it touches his hands. It was a very clean catch by Eric Highsmith, and right there, I think his toe
got a foot down.
Touches on the left foot. I think that's a catch.
So do I.
Tremendous throw, tremendous play, great play call.
And Dwight Jones, though, was coming across, and you could see the eyes of Bryn Renner going from him to the number 2 deeper down the field. That's just a great progression there.
Okay, now North Carolina has challenged the call, and we believe what the officials saw was that not necessarily the foot getting down, but whether Highsmith had complete control of the football. I didn't see it bobble and move on the replays we've watched a moment ago, but the ruling on the field is incomplete pass, and as we've told you many times over the course of the season, there has to be indisputable video evidence in order to overturn the call.
And this is a huge challenge for North Carolina, because if they get it, now they're down inside the 5-yard line. They get an opportunity to get a touchdown, take the lead going into halftime, instead of potentially having to settle for a field goal right now. 4th down if the call stands.
I'm not sure they'll even try a field goal. They've had all kinds of field goal kicking problems this year. They've only attempted 5. They lost their kicker, Casey Barth, early in the season to an injury, and replacement Thomas Moore has been good on extra points, but he doesn't have a lot of range. His longest of the season is 32 yards.
Yeah, I think I'm sure they're looking for 2 things: complete possession of the football from Highsmith, and then the foot. The foot to me looks like it's down. It's a matter, did he finish the play? We don't know if the ball came loose over there or he finished it through the tumble.
There's another advantage to challenging this call right now. It buys John Shoup a lot of time to confer with Everett Withers and his coaching staff if in fact they want to call a play on 4th down.
After further review, the ruling on the field stinks. North Carolina is not charged in timeout, as we were paged by the replay just prior to the timeout being called.
All right, so Ron Cherry saying the play stands, so what that means is there wasn't enough video evidence to overturn it. And now North Carolina is indeed going to try the field goal.
Number 14, Thomas Moore is on.
Will be a 43-yard attempt for Thomas Moore. It will be The longest of the season in the career for the freshman as he tries to tie the game with less than a minute to go in the half.
Wynn's going right to left.
Moore sends it on its way, and it is wide left.
Craig,
So a huge call goes against North Carolina, and they come up empty.
Well, Craig, we just talked about that wind a second ago, affecting passes, it's affecting kicks, and now you've missed that field goal. Logan Thomas gets possession of the football back here at his own 26-yard line. You're Mike O'Kane calling plays for Virginia Tech. You decide to get aggressive, playing at home. What do you guys think?
Well, I think, you know, right now, if you're Virginia Tech, you're certainly happy that you were able to hold North Carolina to 7, because remember, they fumbled at the 5 going in the first quarter. It's all on the first play. If they can get some production here, then maybe they do something with it.
Thomas has plenty of time, has to check it down to Boykin. Boykin steps out of bounds and stops the clock.
Going back, though, to that North Carolina drive, that was a very important drive for them to hold the football, to get some rhythm and confidence before they go in at halftime.
Got a lot of decisions to have to make now in the second half. If Giovani Bernard's not able to come back, how does that affect this offense? How does that affect the play calling coming up here in the second half of this game?
2nd and 3, and more pressing for the Hokies. 38 seconds remain in the half. Boykin and the inside screen. First down and a lot more. Boykin shoved out of bounds at midfield. 1st and 10 for the Hokies.
2 timeouts left right now. It completely changes your mindset. 31 seconds is an eternity for this offense with those timeouts. I love the play call.
Yeah, I absolutely do too. This is confidence in your quarterback, knowing that he's going to see if a lineman has dropped into that screen zone, because North Carolina is really good at getting back into passing lanes.
2 timeouts now. They do not have to use the sidelines. They can throw the football over the middle of the field into open zone.
Or run it. Logan Thomas with those legs.
Boykin's caught 7 passes for 60 yards. Thomas underneath to Wilson. Wilson hit hard from behind. That was Quentin Coples.
Those two guys are going to meet on Sunday afternoon one of these days, and I know David will be looking for him the next time.
Did you get an idea from that why the NFL fellas are fond of old 90 and Tar Heel blue?
They might be sharing a green room together at the next year's NFL draft.
Get some eyes in the back of that head.
I'd be careful if I were that guy. It's close to Thanksgiving, you know.
Better keep your head in a swivel now.
Virginia Tech with a 10-7 lead. Some of the mascot's friends are being served up. Great turkey legs here at Lane Stadium. One of the great delicacies here right now. Not much time for Virginia Tech to eat up as they try to get some more points before halftime. Logan Thomas, pressure from behind. He gets rid of it. And he throws it over Danny Cole's head. Applying the pressure was Quentin Coples.
Yeah, Coples is going to heat it up here, and you see the athleticism. For me, what impresses me about Coples is the speed. Yeah. You know, the speed to close on the ball carrier, the speed to close on a quarterback.
Speed for a guy that's 6'6", 290 pounds. Rare combination, and that's the reason why he's considered a lock as a top 5 pick. 21 career sacks, tied with Lawrence Taylor for 4th most in school history. I think Virginia Tech needs to get to the 25-yard line to get in field goal range.
When it's short yardage, just let Logan do the work on the quarterback sneak, and he does it again. So 14 seconds now. Virginia Tech with 1 timeout left, but Thomas trying to get everybody lined up.
Yeah, he's going to clock it here.
Yeah, clock stops until the chains are set, and now Thomas only lost 3 seconds. That is Cody Jernell.
His career long's 41 yards. Consider with this wind how we've seen it affect kicks. Thinking you get it to the 25, make it a 42-yard attempt, really give yourself a realistic shot.
I'm sitting here thinking, get the ball in David Wilson's hands, but we've seen him time and again this season. He has the ability to go and extend a play well beyond 11 seconds. I mean, there was one play this year, I think he went like 31 seconds, ran 160 yards. It was one of those crazy football plays.
It was the play against Clemson, the only game that Virginia Tech has lost. You looked at the wind, and it died down for a moment. It is at the Hokies' back, it appears, but swirling a little bit. Thomas taking a deep shot. Marcus Davis is out there, and he couldn't quite catch up. Tim Scott on the coverage. Davis, a junior from Virginia Beach and a big-time athlete, couldn't quite get that one lined up.
That's a throw that Logan Thomas is going to want to have back. He had 3 one-on-one matchups across the board at wide receiver. He tries to take advantage of 6'4" Marcus Davis, who has a 44-inch vertical leap. Unfortunately, the ball thrown a little bit behind him, not able to make a play.
Now, we saw Jernell warming up, but this is Justin Meyer coming in. He's the kickoff specialist, a little bit stronger legs. So from 57 yards out, Beamer is going to give Meyer the opportunity.
Strong wind at his back.
North Carolina uses its timeout. Gives us a moment for our conference update. Now brought to you by Dr. Pepper 10. And in the ACC, Clemson has already earned a spot in the ACC championship game. Ticket sales already taken care of. It's going to be a great scene, Charlotte, for that game between Clemson and either Virginia Tech or Virginia.
And the sense of urgency for Virginia Tech has to be high tonight, because if they win tonight and Virginia loses against Florida State on Saturday, Virginia Tech has locked up the division this weekend to set up that great rematch against Clemson in the ACC title game.
You know, I asked Jaron Hosley yesterday, I said, are you sort of, rooting for Virginia a little bit against Florida State, just, to raise the stakes of the Commonwealth Cup? And he tried to be diplomatic for a while, but finally said, I'm a Virginia Tech guy. I'm not supposed to root for Virginia.
Well, I'll say this quickly about Virginia. Virginia and Mike London, Michael Rocco at quarterback. That is a highly improved football team.
So Virginia Tech trying to tack 3 more on. In the final seconds of the first half, this is a 57-yard attempt for Meyer. And a little bit of a knuckleball. Charles Brown was back there. Now to go, and we are at the half. So North Carolina got off to a tremendous start, forcing a turnover from Virginia Tech on the first play from scrimmage. They turned it into a touchdown. Quentin Coples in the Carolina defense has made Virginia Tech earn it as we check in with Jen Brown, who's with Frank Beamer.
Coach, up by just 3. What message do you want your team to receive here at the half?
Pardon me?
You're up by just 3. What message do you want your team to receive here at the half?
We just got to keep, we got to play. This game's far from being decided, and these guys are playing well. So we got to come out and move that football.
What adjustments would you like to see made?
I'm sorry.
What adjustments would you like to see made?
Well, I think we're okay. Offensively, after that first play, we been moving the football, and up front on defense, they're just kind of mashing us a little bit.
All right, thanks, Coach. Reese?
All right, Jen, Beamer, the winningest active coach in college football in his 25th season here at Virginia Tech, has designs on a shot at his 5th ACC title and 8th conference title overall. Logan Thomas found his tight end Chris Drager. Hokies have a 10-7 lead. Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Primetime, served by Applebee's. Blacksburg, Virginia tonight, about to start the third quarter. Virginia Tech up on North Carolina 10-7. Hokies trying to clinch at least a share of the ACC. Coastal Virginia is still in the race as well. Cavaliers play Florida State on Saturday as you have a look at Frank Beamer, who's going for victory number 250 in his career. Reese Davis, Craig James, Jesse Palmer, Jen Brown's working the field for us. North Carolina took advantage of a mistake, scored first, and maybe if not for a mistake by them, the Tar Heels would have the lead in this game. What about the second half for them?
That's the message that I think Withers has to give his ball club. They have to understand that they are playing very well in this ball game. Could have more points on the scoreboard. So it's not like they came into Lane Stadium and were intimidated and blown out. I like the way they entered here.
I think the team that makes the fewest mistakes wins this football game. Very evenly matched right now in all 3 facets of the game. Historically, Frank Beamer's teams have played very even keel. Since 2004, when they joined the ACC, they're 25-2 in games played in the month of November. It's going to come up to Logan Thomas, the playmakers on this Virginia Tech team, to remain calm, make plays, try and stay alive for that ACC Coastal Division Championship.
Frank Beamer talked about the fact that much of the first half, the North Carolina defensive line put a lot of heat on Virginia Tech, both making it difficult to run, though David Wilson did have 51 yards in the first half, but Thomas threw it 20 times, hit 12 of them. North Carolina will have the ball first to start the second half. Justin Meyer, the kickoff specialist, drives it deep, and the youngster TJ Thorpe couldn't get it corralled. So Carolina will start on the 20 as we take a look at our coaching adjustments brought to you by Home Depot.
All right, I think, Jesse, we talked about this here. For North Carolina, they have to, on third down, somehow contain Logan Thomas. He made 2 big plays, one running, one throwing.
They're going to do that by having to keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get outside and extend plays. I thought early in this game, UNC did a great job getting pressure, bringing extra players on blitz packages and try and rattle Logan Thomas. They're going to have to do more of that here in the second half.
Bryn Renner, solid in the first half. A.J. Blue's in for Giovani Bernard, who was hurt in the first half, as Blue picks up 3, maybe 4 on first down as we check in with Jen Brown.
Well, Reese, I can give you that update on Giovani Bernard. Unfortunately, he did suffer a mild concussion in that helmet-to-helmet hit there in the second quarter. He is still in the locker room, will not return to the field, and he will not be returning to the game. Not good news, obviously, for UNC and their leading rusher.
No, it's not. Jen Bernard was having an excellent first half. Made a tremendous run on the play on which he was injured. He's North Carolina's first 1,000-yard rusher since 1997, as we told you in the first half. But Blue, a little bit of a bigger back, a sophomore, 230-pounder. He'll have it again. Blue works his way across the 30-yard line, 2 plays and a first down for the Tar Heels.
So the way that you compensate for the loss of Bernard and to help out Blue in the running game, what do? Shoop goes in, does misdirection, formation changes, gets Virginia Tech guessing.
And take advantage of a physical offensive line that is dominating right now at the point of attack, Craig, particularly inside. Both guards, Jonathan Cooper, Travis Bond, center Cam Holland, they are winning their individual matchups up front against Virginia Tech.
Keep it on the ground. This time, not much for Blue. He might have gotten 1. It'll be 2nd and 9.
And that's an improvement that I think John Shoop and this coaching staff was looking for from North Carolina. 2 weeks ago when they lost to North Carolina State, they felt they got manhandled up front inside. That hasn't been the case tonight.
No, it has not been, and that is, though, when you look at this Virginia Tech defense, a reflection, though, of the linebackers and what they've done in run support. They'll have a better chance against Blue than they did Bernard in open space.
4 rushing. Renner running out of time. Bryn fires it along the sideline, incomplete. He was looking for Jeremy Boyd. Kyle Fuller on the coverage, 3rd and 9.
And that's the kind of play, though, that Renner has to be really smart on. You know what? Sometimes they win on defense and they do push you out. Just don't throw the ball up for an interception. This Virginia Tech defense has made a living off of turning the ball over for many years.
Bud Foster now, big substitution, going to a dime package. Lots of DBs on the field, certainly anticipating pass. Going to be a junk look on defense here. Lots of players up front standing up.
Renner's been good at times, but prone to interceptions. He's thrown 11 of them this year. He was trying to fire it to Eric Ebron, his tight end. Eddie Whitley was there to break it up, and the Tar Heels picked up a first down on their initial series, but after that, the Hokies forcing them to punt.
Understanding what the route's going to be and finding the receiver and following him. This team has 28 interceptions in the last 17 games. They stay around where the ball's intended for.
You have 11 players on defense that understand their assignments and exactly where to line up. Their route recognition, phenomenal.
Now, Tommy Hibbert's first punt was 31 yards. This one significantly longer. He had the wind at his back this time, and the Hokies will get it for the first time in the second half and start at their own 30-yard line. The Cowpokes are coming to aim. Number 2, an undefeated Oklahoma State in their national championship hopes in to take on the Cyclones. It'll be a Friday night affair, 8 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Brandon Wheaton, Justin Blackman, Joseph Randall, and that explosive Cowboy offense putting up huge numbers. They try to remain undefeated with Oklahoma coming up in the regular season finale. Quick pass to Danny Cole, and Cole was the second all-time leading receiver at Virginia Tech behind his buddy 81 there, Jared Boykin. Gets a first down, pickup of 17.
Yeah, the play action at the very beginning of the snap and the body, the way the quarterback watched Thomas when he opens to the left, the secondary moved just a little bit and allowed Cole to get out there and catch that football. And He doesn't need much room in front of him.
We've seen that play call a lot. A lot of these bubble screens, screen to the outside, an extension of a sweep play, but don't underestimate the accuracy of that throw by Logan Thomas. That allows Danny Cole to get north.
This time, Thomas not as accurate as Quentin Coples was in his face.
Now, Quentin Coples had very high expectations heading into this season. He had 10 sacks a year ago on his way to being named first-team All-ACC. He was expecting very big numbers this year. He's fought a lot of double teams and triple teams, and because of that, his numbers have been down. Really frustrated him early this year, but he's been playing big-time football, facing all of these double and triple teams, that time unblocked.
The attention he's drawn has allowed some of his teammates up front to make plays. Saw Sylvester Williams make one in the first play of the game, and there it goes again. A little bubble screen, Cole. I think Danny wanted to cut it back inside, but stepped out of bounds before he could do it. Hokies are wanting a little bit better spot than they got. They're going to be a little short of the first down, it appears.
North Carolina's defense just isn't doing a good job on 2nd and 10, which has been a common theme tonight. These receivers at Virginia Tech, it's a numbers game. It's 2-on-2. And then the speed of the throw that you talked about, Jesse, lets the receiver get the ball and run.
And it helps, Greg, that they're just being more physical outside on the perimeter with their blocking schemes. It's not just inside this offensive line, outside too.
Not the quarterback sneak on 3rd and short. They'll pick up the first down anyway as Wilson gets it close to the 40-yard line before he's tagged. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Hokies.
You know, Frank Beamer made a very bold coaching decision this past offseason when he made Mike O'Kane his offensive play caller. He was the quarterback coach, used to be Brian Steinspring, considering last year they were scoring 34 points a game and led the conference. I think that move surprised a lot of people. He did it because he felt Mike O'Kane had a better grasp and feeling for what his quarterback would like in terms of the play calls. It's worked out well so far this year.
Thomas told us yesterday his relationship with O'Kane was as if he was a grandfather. As Wilson stays on his feet. Hit again. Now coming back the other way, and the Tar Heels this time will have none of it. Wilson's going to lose 3. It'll be 2nd and 13.
And, you know, to follow up on that, Brian Steinspring, he's still, quote, the offensive coordinator, and he works well with Mike O'Kane. Steinspring's been around a long time. Between the two, the combination they have, Steinspring on the field, visiting with the players, it's a good combo. And Frank Beamer, I mean, when you've been around as long as he has, he understands the chemistry and the makeup of his staff and what the players need to hear.
It's allowed Brian Steinspring to spend more time recruiting the eastern side of Virginia, the state where there's a lot of good football talent. It's important to consider Mike O'Kane has experience calling plays.
Another 2nd and long.
Thomas threw it up and out of bounds, and now it'll be 3rd and long for the Hokies. Jim Brown's down on the sideline. Jim, what do you got for us?
Reese, we just saw that pass go high. I can tell you the wind is really picked up down here. We see plastic bags and napkins. They're swirling around through the stadium, over the field. If you look at the Virginia Tech bench, they're all huddled around the heaters down here. We know it's going to get down into the 20s. Who knows how cold it is with the wind chill.
Jen, you know, as a quarterback throwing in these type of windy situations, it's really important that you focus on following through on your throws. It's very easy for balls to sail in these windy conditions like we've seen tonight.
Reese, here's that 3rd down and long that we said for the coaching adjustment. Got to stop Logan Thomas.
Thomas fires high. There's some contact. They're throwing the flag in there. And Charles Brown, the hit. North Carolina's staff wants it to be deemed uncatchable. I want to see if they're just jumping for the ball. Let's have a look at.
They're trying to go to Jared Boykin here on the skinny post, so it's got to be a driven throw by Logan Thomas. Watching it live, I thought that football was uncatchable. It was a line drive well over everybody's head.
Yeah, Everett Withers lobbied to the best of his ability, but he's not going to get the call.
Yeah, so another 3rd down conversion here with the benefit of the help from North Carolina. I thought this ball was high.
I don't like that call, guys. I mean, Brown cut inside the route and jumped for the football.
No doubt. Bad call. So that's really back-to-back calls that have been against North Carolina. The one that they had down on Highsmith where the ruling stayed on the field as incomplete. That was going in for 6 points right there.
Now North Carolina's defense will have to try to rise up. Third down conversion on the penalty on the interference. And right now, the Tar Heels have Wilson's number. He fumbled the football, but I believe as the officials come in, they're marking it down. North Carolina wants the ball, and now, right now, guys, penalty just went against you. It appears this one's not going to go their way. It's not. Maybe that's the right call, but North Carolina's got to guard against being frustrated.
Yeah, well, and that's a play Logan Thomas has to audible out of. They spread the field. There's 7 players inside the box, one too many to block. David Wilson, with all the speed in the world, has no chance on that running play. And I put that on the quarterback. He knows enough in this offense to get out of that play.
You know, that one angle we saw from the other side, it looked clear that Wilson's elbow was down. The last replay we just watched, maybe not so clear.
Remember, turnovers in the fringe area of the field for this Virginia Tech offense have been killing them over the last several weeks.
So they're going to look at it in the replay booth. Virginia Tech with a 10-7 lead, and they believe they still have the ball. So the play stands. We'll talk about that more momentarily. Virginia Tech maintains possession on 2nd and 12. Logan Thomas to Marcus Davis. Davis inside the 25 before he's chased out of bounds at the 23-yard line by Jonathan Smith.
One thing about the officials, when they went in, they were very quick on this up top. Now, we stopped it, we froze it, we blew it up. It looks to us up here, that football is out before the elbow hits. I'm not so certain, Reese, that they didn't make this call before they had a chance to see that.
Maybe so. The hand, remember, is not down. Elbow and forearm is down. The reverse angle of that play, it looked as if his elbow hit, but that ball is clearly out. Another tough break for North Carolina. 3rd and 2 now. Logan Thomas still on his feet, on his way to the end zone. Touchdown, Hokies. Logan Thomas, who accounted for 5 touchdowns last Thursday night against Georgia Tech, runs one in, and Virginia Tech, a couple of fortuitous calls on that drive, and they finish off a 9-play, 70-yard drive, and with the extra point, the Hokies will be up by 10. Cody Jurnell has missed only 1 point after this year. Maintains his good form, and Virginia Tech has stretched the lead to 10, and North Carolina's offense will be feeling the heat on a cold night in Blacksburg after big Logan Thomas rumbles in for the score. Logan Thomas just scored his 9th rushing touchdown of the year, and on senior night in Blacksburg, Hokies up 17-7.
This is just about the same touchdown run that Logan Thomas had against Miami to win the football game a few weeks ago. Look at the pressure it puts on the defense. The tackle blocks down, he seals the inside off. Good job by the tight end blocking out. The corner comes around, support for David Wilson. That leaves the running lane by Logan Thomas to run through arm tackles.
That's his 9th rushing touchdown on the year. That's now a new single-season school record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback, surpassing the great Michael Vick.
Virginia Tech with the lead. I want to clear up something. There was some confusion on the officiating staff about that near fumble by David Wilson. They sent it to the replay booth, but as it turns out, Ron Cherry and his crew, they had called forward progress, had been stopped. That's not reviewable. So that's why that I guess you couldn't even really say the play stands. It wasn't a reviewable situation. Virginia Tech catching a break in that regard because North Carolina had gotten the loose football. Logan Thomas turned it into a touchdown. TJ Thorpe. Thorpe will be corralled just over the 25-yard line. More football coming your way on Saturday night. ABC primetime. Michael James and Oregon surging right now on offense. Face Matt Barkley and USC. Trojans can't go to the Pac-12 championship game because of probation. They're the best team in the Pac-12 South right now. You can see the game on ABC. Some will see Oklahoma going in to take on Robert Griffin III and Baylor. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines at 8 on ABC or ESPN3. So now a big series for Bryn Renner. whose family has had season tickets to Virginia Tech games for 44 years. His father played here, grew up coming to games here, and now he needed to get the playoff a little bit quicker.
Delay of game, number 2 on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Here is Bill Renner, the father of Bryn, who has helped Bud Foster work and recruit kickers over the years. He's a high school coach now, but he's wearing Carolina blue instead of that Chicago maroon and burnt orange tonight because blood's a little bit thicker than the scholarship, huh?
I can identify with that era of a haircut, by the way. Like that down the middle, a little bit longer.
Some things, good thing to go out of style. Renner fires a dart between 2 guys, and making the grab is Dwight Jones. There is a flag down. That flag is right along the sidelines, and maybe the question is, did Jones go out of bounds? And they're calling offensive pass interference.
One thing North Carolina loves to do on offense is double moves by the wide receivers. They get a play action fake and a pump from Bryn Renner. Right there, a push off on Jaron Hosley by Dwight Jones before making that catch. Good call.
But that is also a good call by North Carolina. They've got to get Jones involved in this football game. Without Giovani Bernard out with a head injury, their big playmaker now turns into Dwight Jones.
You know what, guys, the shame of that for Jones was I don't think he needed to do it.
No.
I think the ball was going to be there, and Hosley hadn't gotten his head around on the ball yet. Another costly penalty for North Carolina. Had a couple in the first half that were really harmful. Renner gets rid of it and completes it to Ebron. The tight end still on his feet and up close to the 30-yard line.
There's the natural playmaking ability by Bryn Renner we're talking about. In years past with TJ Yates, a quarterback, John Shoop used to have to manufacture big plays with his play calling, but Bryn Renner has this ability to buy himself time, keep his focus downfield, and he finds the true freshman tight end.
Well, that's why John Shoop says this guy's got game. That's what that means right there. That game and that athleticism bought them that big-time play.
An 18-yard pickup gives him a chance to convert. Renner quickly to Jones. Jones slips Hosley. Gets out. I'm going to mark him at the 36-yard line. He needs to get to about the 37. I think it's going to be about a yard short or so. It'll be 3rd down.
The wind is at the back of North Carolina in this quarter. They must take advantage of that. Down 17-7. Throws like that are a lot tougher when they turn around in the 4th quarter.
Bryn Renner has to be smart, and he has to understand when he has Dwight Jones one-on-one with smaller cornerbacks and they're giving him cushion, he has to take those throws as often as Virginia Tech's going to present them.
Renner doing his best Logan Thomas impersonation. And gets the first down on the quarterback sneak. A.J. Blue has moved in to take the snap. Renner's lined up at wide receiver. See what kind of trickery the Heels have in mind. Blue going to throw it. And never really had a chance to complete that one.
Remember, we said A.J. Blue played at the Wildcat quarterback in this offense 2 years ago. He's a guy that has history playing quarterback in high school. He can make throws. Little wrinkle from John Shoop.
Good thing he got hit here, because there were 3 Virginia Tech players that were going to pick that ball off and it got air underneath it. But that's the Shoop that we're expecting. Virginia Tech has to respect that. The lateral throws, things that are going to take advantage of Virginia Tech's aggressive defense. They're having to manufacture big plays.
Blue across the 40, maybe to the 41. It's going to be 3rd down and 6.
You know, I'm really impressed watching Bud Foster's defense. He has a very unique scheme on defense. He has a lot of coverages that are very uncommon. And because of that, they can confuse opposing quarterbacks, particularly inexperienced quarterbacks like a Bryn Renner. This is the only defense in the nation that opposing quarterbacks are completing less than 50% against. Watch for them to dial something up here on 3rd down. Show blitz early, bail out late.
Heels 6 of 12 on 3rd down. Renner reloads and then threw it behind Highsmith. Highsmith took a little exception to Anton Exum.
There's another example of route recognition and the defense running the route alongside the wide receiver. That's why this Virginia Tech defense holds opponents to 48% completions on their passes. They're at 50% tonight at North Carolina, so they're right in line with what Virginia Tech normally does.
They're taking away all the check down throws right now, hugging their linebackers against those backs, not giving Bryn Renner an outlet.
Hibbert. A terrible punt.
With the wind at his back.
He had a 31-yarder earlier. He was also aided by a 15-yard interference penalty from Virginia Tech. This one a 13-yard punt. The Hokies having great field position. This is Virginia Tech's Lumen House. It won the International Solar House Award against 10 other countries. It's a zero-energy smart house. Lumen, of course, referring to the power of light. An engineering school here in Blacksburg at Virginia Tech. Hokies hoping to engineer a touchdown drive that might end the hopes of North Carolina. David Wilson, who has 7 straight 100-yard rushing games, now halfway there by picking up a yard on that carry.
You know, this offense, you just mentioned it, Reese, they need to have a killer instinct right now. If they can march down this field and score a touchdown, they can put this game out of reach, because we've seen UNC tonight. They've really struggled trying to manufacture explosive plays. Big opportunity for Logan Thomas in this Hokie offense.
Second and long is when the Carolina defense has been hurt, and they are again. Garrett Boykin makes a catch just into North Carolina territory.
You know what impresses me about Logan Thomas? And I know he's a big athlete, but the decisions, he's got the intellect. You see a corner blitz coming, he knows someone's going to fill that hole over there. He turns immediately and he delivers an accurate ball.
A lot of credit, I think, has to go to Mike O'Kane, his quarterback coach, teaching him how to watch film, how to study. Logan Thomas will be the first to tell you he was very raw as a quarterback when he got here, but he's becoming so much smarter.
Tar Heels showing blitz. Brown's after him. Thomas just throws it up for grabs, and that ball is almost intercepted. It'll be 4th down. Zach Brown was the one, as I mentioned, right in Logan's grill, and it'll be 4th and 5.
Well, they were 70% on conversions on 3rd down. Virginia Tech finally stopped North Carolina defense, and only because Zach Brown had the foot speed to get to Logan Thomas.
Well, he absolutely worked David Wilson one-on-one right there. 2 fastest players on the field. That was easily won by Brown.
First punt of the night for Virginia Tech. Brown gets it just across the 20-yard line and gives us time to say hello again to Wendy Nixon. A flag comes in late.
Reese, thank you. Time now for our AT&T All-America Player of the Week. It's Colin Klein from Kansas State. Last week against Texas A&M, 281 passing yards and a touchdown, 103 rushing yards, and his school record 5 rushing TDs. That'll do it. Text your vote to 55862. You can vote and also earn a chance to win a trip to the national championship game.
You know, Wendy, Colin Klein has 24 rushing touchdowns this year, and he's really helped Kansas State have a sensational year. By the way, that personal foul penalty was against Virginia Tech's Chase Williams. It's a 15-yarder and will really help out the field position. You see Chase number 36 there. A little late shove. You know what?
A lot of acting right there.
Well, I mean, he did it, and he deserved the penalty, but I will say this. Going like that is perfect Roy Williams take a charge technique. Ryan Houston, who had a costly fumble inside the 5-yard line in the first half back in the game, and he's knocked down by Anton Exum.
I love this scheme by Bud Foster. The defense puts players in position to make plays. They have, at the snap, so many orange jerseys close to the line of scrimmage, so they're able to support the run, but if you show pass, they're able to pin their ears back, get back into coverage, and create tight windows for the opposing quarterback.
I love that play there. The 6 front guys went to the right. 2 safeties came up to the left. They covered their void, their area, just a blanket.
Screen was too high for Houston. He had some room if he'd been able to bring it in, but there's a flag on the play. All right, now Ron Cherry's trying to decide if they want to accept the ineligible receiver down the field. And remember, you see a lot of screen passes in college football when the offensive linemen are downfield. You can do that as long as the pass is thrown completed behind the line of scrimmage. That one is not.
Downfield on the offense. The penalty is declined.
Well, they got it straightened out. Virginia Tech would rather make it 3rd and long instead of backing him up.
Yeah, because this gives Bud Foster the chance to do something against Bryn Renner on a 3rd and long. Noted for coming after the quarterback with a 5th and/or 6th defender.
Dwight Jones, their big play receiver, lined up all the way at the top of the screen.
Renner has to get rid of it into traffic, and an excellent play by Jaron Hosley on Jones. And Jones is just begging now.
Jaron Hosley is competing tonight, and he takes pride being a quarterback here at Virginia Tech. You consider the legacy left by guys like Brandon Flowers, D'Angelo Hall, Macho Harris. He's playing big, and Bryn Renner takes another shot after delivering that football.
That's that Bud Foster deal, man. There's going to be 6 folks coming because he knows the secondary is going to run the route as well as the wide receiver.
Hibbert had a 13-yard punt the last time for Carolina. Heat coming. A little bit higher and better this time. Hosley running way up. And he put it on the ground, but Virginia Tech is there to cover up the muff.
Just out of sync, Reese. North Carolina, they're hurting themselves with penalties and bad plays and fumbles and not getting there. When this ball's on the ground, you got to have your knees bent, white jerseys. Be around the football. Expect something big to happen for yourself. They didn't. They weren't ready.
Virginia Tech has gotten a lot of breaks tonight with calls by referees, fumbles like that. A lot of things have gone the way of Frank Beamer and this Hokie team.
Fumble inside the 5 in the first half that really wasn't the result of a big hit. But Virginia Tech has taken advantage of it. They have a 10-point lead in the ball back as we get deep in the 3rd quarter. Thomas quickly to Boykin. This time Boykin can't hold on. It'll be 2nd and 10. Our Home Depot College Football Awards spotlight and a Buckus Awards semifinalist is Zach Brown. Brown is the leading tackler on this North Carolina team. He has 5.5 sacks. So I'm putting pressure on Logan Thomas earlier tonight. He has 6 tackles so far in this game. He has tremendous speed for a linebacker. He is up for the Buckus Award. You can tune in to the Home Depot ESPNU College Football Awards show. That's December 8th, 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Josh Oglesby has it. It'll be a minimal game, 3rd and long coming.
You just mentioned Zach Brown a moment ago. He's a guy with tremendous athleticism, but he's a lot smarter this season. Earlier this year, he was having issues getting aligned, wasn't always playing his assignment, and as a result, he was relegated to the scout team earlier this season, only played special teams against Georgia Tech, but he got back in the good graces of this coaching staff with smart play. He's really been a leader on this defense the second half of the season.
Bud Foster says that he only recruits players who have high football IQ, guys who love the game, and guys that can come along and understand it, and that's what's happened here. I mean, this is a very smart player.
Logan Thomas taking a shot. Boykin's out there and he's got it. Boykin trying to stay in bounds. He does. Jarrett's got room. All the way down to the 27-yard line. A pickup of 39.
When Jarrett Boykin is isolated one-on-one to the single receiver side, that's right where Logan Thomas's eyes are going to go. He's a big physical wide receiver. He wears triple XL size gloves, so he's got those strong hands, and you see the physicality in the school's career reception leader here at Virginia Tech.
You see how steady he's been. The 9 catches tonight, a career high, and as Jesse said, he is the all-time leading receiver, both in catches and yardage here at Virginia Tech. Inside 2 minutes to go in the 3rd. Oglesby Rumbling inside the 15, another first down for the Hokies.
Yeah, you know what? Now this is a situation here where your football team at North Carolina has to step up and understand it's 17-7. These last few plays, and on this series, it's almost like North Carolina has just stopped getting after it. They're walking around. They're not coming off blocks. They're not playing hard like they did earlier in this game.
Virginia Tech's offensive line is playing hard on this drive. You see them surge off the line of scrimmage that last snap. 148 career starts by this offensive line unit. Getting it done right now in this drive.
Oglesby, who just had a 13-yard run, plus another one for double figures. I think that's going to be exactly 10. Josh he does have the first down. It'll be first and goal for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, and you know what? This is a great sign for Oglesby to be out there doing the damage he's doing. It's not David Wilson, so it's freshness in the backfield for Frank Beamer's offense. With that offensive line mowing them along, now you got fresh backs.
He's a nice change of pace, too. Was a fullback last year, so he kind of brings a physical approach to this running game.
Overloaded to the left. An offensive lineman lined up in the backfield, but still couldn't create enough space for Oglesby.
Remember earlier in this game when North Carolina's defense was pinned back inside their own 5-yard line, they bowed up and held Virginia Tech to only a field goal. They need that same type of intensity right now to not let this game get away from them here late in the third quarter.
But that's why I was saying they've got to have a sense of urgency. You don't feel that. I don't feel that right now coming from their defense.
Man on man up top.
And they throw that way, man out there. The catch is made by Coles. Did he stay in? He did. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. That was a beautifully thrown football.
It's just a fantastic throw.
Oh,
and this is what you do in practice, though. You see that in a game, and you know that it happened because of their Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursday routes.
And Logan Thomas is dialed into this game plan. He audibled to that route concept outside, changed the play at the line of scrimmage, saw the leverage in the defense. Logan Thomas growing up right before our eyes.
The extra point is true from Jernell, and it's a 3-possession game as Virginia Tech stretches it out to 17. That's 24 points in a row for the Hokies, who fell behind 7-0, and they've dominated it since.
Against Miami a few weeks ago, they just come off a loss at Clemson. And this football team got on the back of Logan Thomas. He was nursing a little bit of a sore shoulder. He came out and he started willing his body when he ran. I remember one time he ran over Sean Spence, the great Miami linebacker. And then he all of a sudden went 23 of 25 with the throwing. His accuracy, he has continued to build on that since that ball game.
This is what Logan Thomas was looking at in this last play. He's looking at the leverage right here of the slot defender on DJ Coles. It's inside, so he knows he's got a window to throw this outside. It's basically just a fade route from the slot receiver. And DJ Coles, who this coaching staff says is the most improved wide receiver, another big guy, 6'3", 224 pounds, presenting a nice target.
So how do you
two beautiful throws by Logan Thomas on that drive.
So what's the defensive back thinking there? The defensive back, he's got that leverage from the inside out, right? He is supposed to get in the hip pocket and run with that wide receiver and reach when the ball gets there. But when your receiver has more foot speed and gets a free release, it's pitch and catch.
You know, it's really remarkable the transformation that Thomas has had since that loss to Clemson here in Lane Stadium. The Hokies only scored 3 points. Thomas only threw for 125 yards and only ran for 8. And since that point, a young quarterback without a lot of experience, sometimes it can take him a little while to recover from that. But he told us that really he just let everything go and just played since that point. And his learning curve and improvement curve has been straight up since then.
He's a completely different quarterback since that game. His coaches realize it. His teammates realize it. This team is rolling now.
Short kickoff. Charging up the field for Carolina is Sean Tapley. Tapley is tapped pretty hard right here late in the third quarter as we go back and check in with Wendy Nix.
Reese, thank you. Sports Center right now brought to you by Coors Light. The National League has tapped their Cy Young Award winner, and the distinction belongs to Clayton Kershaw, who received 27 of 32 first-place votes. And the Chicago Cubs have a brand new manager. It comes in the form of Dale Swaim, the Brewers' former hitting coach, expected to be introduced on Friday at Wrigley Field.
Clayton Kershaw, I had a chance to watch him play baseball as a young boy through high school. A nice young man, worked hard, very humble. Congratulations.
Yeah, a terrific season, particularly the dominant second half. Bryn Renner is Dwight Jones. We head toward 10 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Virginia Tech a quarter away from clenching at least a tie for the ACC Coastal. Either a win over Virginia or a Virginia loss to Florida State would send the Hokies back to the ACC championship game if they can hang on for 15 minutes. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Here in Blacksburg, they do a little hokey pokey. Their Hokies up by 17, trying to clinch at least a share of the ACC Coastal. It would be a huge Commonwealth Cup game against their cross-state rival in Virginia. Cavaliers have a game with Florida State coming up Saturday. The Cavaliers, the only other team in the division with an opportunity to knock off the Hokies. Unless, make it interesting, North Carolina having a fourth quarter rally. A quick strike to Eric Highsmith will be a first down for North Carolina. Now today, North Carolina Athletic Director Bubba Cunningham, who's just taken over the job, posted the head coaching job, the head football coaching job. Everett Withers took over for Butch Davis 6 weeks before the season started after Butch Davis was fired amidst the NCAA investigation that is still ongoing. Appeared before the Committee on Infractions as North Carolina. End around to Highsmith. He'll be knocked down about 3 yards short of the first down. Cunningham has told Everett Withers that he will be a candidate for it, and if he's not, he will let him know when that happens. But Bubba was a very successful athletic director at Tulsa, a Notre Dame graduate with a master's in business administration. And, you know, he said he has to do a thorough search for what's best for the program right now. But Everett Withers will be considered, but a number of other guys will be as well. Ryan Houston. Houston breaking it to the sideline, puts his head down. He's inside the 30, and the Tar Heels on the move.
And, you know, part of the evaluation is how a football team plays down the backstretch toward the end. It's nice to see Houston come back with a nice run after that fumble earlier. The senior, you know, pinned up with the energy, wanting to redeem himself.
You know, and he's made big plays here before. 2 years ago, he led this team in rushing. He actually redshirted last year because he was under investigation by the NCAA for improper benefits. Had to miss the first 6 games of the season, then was cleared, decided to redshirt because he could. He can make plays.
Renner. Highsmith. Inside the 15, another Tar Heel first down. Eddie Whitley making the tackle.
There again, there is John Shoup being creative, trying to manufacture big plays, and he's doing it through the motions and the formations. Look at the secondary. Look at the motion here and what it does. And look at everybody freezing on the inside, dropping out of there, forgetting the motion.
It's an added wrinkle to that play. We've seen that play 9 times tonight. They've handed it off to the running back, they've faked the reverse and then thrown it downfield. The added wrinkle there, throwing it to the receiver that he faked the reverse to on the outside left one-on-one. This is a must-have touchdown right now for UNC on this drive.
Renner dropped the screen. Terrific one-handed catch made by Curtis Bird, the fullback. First time we've called Curtis's name tonight. Those hands must be pretty warm inside the gloves. That was a pretty good grab.
It was very nice, but you know, not having Giovani Bernard in the backfield, the explosiveness that he might have if he were the screen receiver right here to take it and get away from Tariq Edwards.
Might not have been able to catch that considering he's only 5'10". That throw would have gone.
Well, maybe he'd run down the
that would have been incomplete. Hey, here's an area of the field now. Again, the size at wide receiver. Dwight Jones outside, Eric Highsmith in the slot. It's got to show up in the red zone. Tight windows to throw the football into.
Renner never had a chance. Kyle Fuller was coming off the corner. Nobody picked it up. Renner didn't know it was coming. The big sack makes it 3rd and long.
It has to happen immediately. When you've got the blitz coming off the blind side on the backside, the guard didn't get out there to block and pick up. See the guard not get all the way over there? You got to get rid of the football. That's a blown blocking assignment up top.
Yeah, Ryan Houston can help out, like looking outside there. This is an area on the field, in the game, you don't want to be if you're UNC. Down 3 possessions, you're throwing the football. You're allowing Bud Foster in this defense to pin their ears back and come after you. 5th in the nation in sacks for a reason. They can bring the heat. They might bring it right here.
One extra coming. Renner tried to get it to the tight end, who was well covered. 4th and 17 coming.
Boy, you know what? I wish we could show you here, but the bracketing of that slot receiver. We showed you earlier, Jesse, you did, on the inside leverage of the North Carolina defender. That time, Virginia Tech had it on the outside, and they bracketed with the free safety. You couldn't get open.
And again, bringing an extra man in pressure, hugging up on the running back, not giving Bryn Renner a check down outlet throw, forcing a perfect pass downfield. It's a great scheme on defense.
Thomas Moore from 38 yards out when going at him, and not close. North Carolina had only tried 5 field goals all season. They're 0 for 2 tonight. Celebrating its 7th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed more than $2.5 million in scholarship money. Thomas Moore tried to knock through a field goal for North Carolina, but that is a stiff wind blowing in his face, and as a result, Virginia Tech has it back on their 20. Logan Thomas keeping it. Logan's going to pick up about 6 and leave Tar Heels scattered in his wake.
Hokies, Tar Heels.
You know, we talked about Logan Thomas being a different quarterback after that loss against Clemson. He responded with that 23 for 25 performance against Miami. That Miami game proved to this coaching staff that Logan Thomas could respond. I think that performance also proved to Logan Thomas that he could play under the spotlight. And he's been big time in their last 5 games, all wins. He's been big time tonight.
And marked him out of bounds at the 25, so it'll be a pickup of 4. David Wilson, who has been largely bottled up tonight and fumbled the football again. He got away with one earlier. See if the Hokies were able to jump on top of it.
Yeah, the hands to the hip by the head football coach is not a happy signal from Frank Beamer. You got to hold on. You know why he fumbles? This guy fumbles because he gives 2nd and 3rd effort. When you try to spin out of tackles, Copels has his hand on that football. You got to tuck it and know your journey's over sometimes.
That's what I'm talking about. 3 points of pressure, and that's another knock on David Wilson.
Right.
That's the 3rd fumble now he's had in the last 2 games. You're right, Craig.
Yeah, that
right
ball's
here,
just not put away.
You're up.
Yeah.
3 possessions deep in your own end. You got to know when the play's over. Yeah, you're the fastest guy in this entire stadium, but know when it's over.
3rd and 5. Copels tried to knock it away from Logan Thomas. He was trying to cause the strip and the sack, which happened on the first play of the game when Sylvester Williams got Logan.
Copels is 6'6", he's 290, and when you get him back there with Logan Thomas,
they're going to call him down. By the way, it's going to give him a sack.
Yeah, well, partially down, I would say. I mean, we've done 2 games in a row now, Virginia Tech. I've done 3. I've seen very few guys bring him down in the pocket.
I'm very surprised Virginia Tech is putting only 1 blocker on Quentin Copels on 3rd down, and a backup tackle at that, and Nick Beckton.
Ooh. Punting has been an adventure tonight for really as good as Virginia Tech special teams have been historically. They're the 4th worst net punting team in the country. Tar Heels have good field position. This is the Merriman Center. It is the centerpiece for Virginia Tech Athletics, multi-purpose building that serves as sort of a Hall of Fame. This is a neat thing they have, an empty trophy case. It's reserved for the National Championship Trophy. In 1999, Michael Vick almost got him one. Took them to the National Championship game where, after a scintillating performance, the Hokies lost to Florida State. Bryn Renner on first down. Jones is open. Hosley knocks him out of bounds as we go down to Jen Brown.
Reese, another unique thing this Hokie team has is this lunch pail here. Now, it serves as a source of inspiration for their defense. It's a concept that came up in 1995 by Coach Rod Sharpless and Bud Foster. It's meant to symbolize a blue-collar approach this team takes on defense. Now, before each season, the team signs a mission statement. They put it inside the box. But something interesting is they actually grab a piece of turf from each road win and put it in the box.
Bryn Renner fires incomplete on second down, and getting that turf away from Georgia Tech was a little tricky last weekend, wasn't it?
That's right. They award the pail each week to a defensive player of the game. Last week it was Derek Hopkins for his play, and rumor has it he got an extra large piece of turf there at Georgia Tech. So neat little source of inspiration for this team.
Since that's field turf at Georgia Tech, there might be a bill headed to Blacksburg. I'm pulling that up. 2nd and 10. Houston. Ryan Houston still on his feet. He's inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal for the Tar Heels.
Like to see the aggressiveness here now on this North Carolina offense. The urgency. You saw them gathered on the sideline, Jesse. They were talking over there. This here is what I'm looking for from a football team that's down. You're not out of it. Get back in.
No, and I'm starting to look for John Shoup to get Bryn Renner outside of the pocket throwing the football. He's been deadly accurate tonight when he's been on the move, moving the launch point, because Virginia Tech's pinning their ears back, aiming 9 yards behind the center. Get Bryn Renner away from the danger throwing the football.
Houston tripped up. Eddie Whitley hit him, so too did Luther Maddie.
I am impressed with both Ryan Houston and A.J. Blue in Giovani Bernard's absence in this game. It's not, Craig, you mentioned it, not the same style as running, not the same explosiveness, but they have been able to be productive and find yardage on the ground still.
Yeah, and now I agree with you there. Now here comes a 4-man substitution, a new package coming in for North Carolina that includes Highsmith and Dwight Jones. I like that. When you get down here, you got to have playmakers that can beat defenders one-on-one. I like this substitution.
Watch for Renner to get outside here.
Inside handoff to Thorpe, and TJ is knocked down after a minimal game. 3rd and goal coming.
Well, that's a good call there.
And Thorpe is down holding his knees, a freshman from Durham, which is just 8 miles down the road from Chapel Hill. Mentioned earlier tonight, he had a tremendous kickoff return for a touchdown against Clemson, went 100 yards with that. Tried to spring him a little inside handoff in the last play. The freshman.
A little counter play
here.
Yeah,
you see him get outside. It looks like on contact with J-Ron Hosley, he just kind of maybe just bangs his kneecap. Just a shoulder pad.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a right knee that he reached for immediately, and here's Hosley through his body.
Hyperextension there.
Oh, boy.
Thorpe now sitting up. He's a guy with the speed, a guy that they're counting on to develop. He's only caught a couple of passes this year, but he had a 52-yard catch. He's had some big plays as he sort of works his way into learning the offense and becoming more part of it. And whoever the coach is at North Carolina, whether it's Everett Withers or someone else next season, there is talent and returning talent on this Tar Heel team.
Butch Davis was really good at recruiting athletes. Yeah. You know, we were talking about at dinner last night, you got to have the Jimmies and the Joes to win. I don't care, the X's and O's are part of it, but you got to have players And Butch Davis knew how to recruit players.
Oh, the next head coach will have to be a guy maybe that understands the recruiting landscape in the state of North Carolina around this area inside the ACC. Here, right here, I'd like getting Bryn Renner outside again, run pass option, big third down.
They'll keep it on the ground to Houston. There is a flag flying. 10-yard line. Another penalty at an inopportune time for the Tar Heels. Ron Cherry is either sorting out and deciding again. I'm trying to decide. This is the second time they've had a little trouble with communication.
5 men in the backfield offense. The penalty is declined.
So not enough men on the line of scrimmage, or too many in the backfield. It's the second time we're chuckling because it's the second or third time tonight that the referee Ron Cherry's had a little communication issue with the Virginia Tech sideline as to whether they wanted to accept or decline a penalty. Hokies decline it, so it's 4th and goal.
It's going to be quick, whatever happens here, because Foster's got guys up front that are playing fast, and if you bring one extra, the ball's going to have to be out of the hands of Renner on time.
And now North Carolina has to use a timeout. Renner getting after his tight end about the alignment. We'll see if the Tar Heels can put one on the board when you come back.
Dwight Jones versus Jaron Hosley at the top of the screen.
On a 4th and goal, Tar Heels last gasp. Renner into the end zone. Touchdown, North Carolina. It's Mookie Highsmith with his 4th touchdown catch of the year.
Beautiful throw by Bryn Renner, putting it up where only Highsmith can go get that football. You know, when you throw footballs in the back of the end zone down this close, you got to throw it high. It can't be a low throw, can't get knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
Highsmith's a 6'3", so you can throw it up high like that. He did a really nice job with his move to the outside, stuttered, timing.
Thomas Moore puts it through, and Highsmith, whose given name is Eric, goes by Mookie. It's clouded the issue a little bit for Virginia Tech, drawing North Carolina to within 10. Good throw by Renner. The Tar Heels can get a stop. Could it get interesting in the last 7:06? Last 7:06 in Blacksburg. A lot of milestones at stake. Number one, Virginia Tech trying to win 10 games for the 8th straight season. In the process, trying to wrap up at least a share of the ACC Coastal. They also have this senior class trying to win on senior night for 41st time. They have a shot by the end of their careers of being the winningest class in Virginia Tech history. And Frank Beamer, if he could get victory number 250, would break a tie on the all-time wins list with Lou Holtz. Beamer, the winningest active coach. Right now, he's got the hands team on as North Carolina will try the onside kick down 10 with 7:06 to go. It's hit hard, balls lying there for a while, and one of the seniors, Jared Boykin, jumps on top of it.
At the 45-yard line.
Wasn't the greatest onside kick I've ever seen.
A bit surprised we're kicking onside kicks here with 7 minutes to go in a 2-possession game. Your defense just forced a punt by Virginia Tech. I think premature for the onside kick, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe so. Not confident perhaps that they could get the stop, needing it twice. The BCS standings brought to you by Vizio. LSU and Oklahoma State are the two teams that all they have to do, if destiny can actually be controlled, which is certainly something that's debatable, LSU and Oklahoma State win their games, they will play for the national championship. A slew of one-loss teams behind, including Virginia Tech, as Boykin, who's had a career 9 in catches, grabs another one. Several of them have been the short, quick variety.
I think on our Sunday night show, the question that you posed that was really interesting, if Oklahoma State were the only unbeaten and everybody else had one loss, who's the team that plays for the national championship?
A lot of hypotheticals. I'll tell you what, LSU's got potentially two games left on their schedule that they could very easily lose. There's a lot of football to be played. A lot of people could still go down. This is going to go right down to the wire.
Another milestone is David Wilson looking for his 8th straight 100-yard rushing game. That's going to get him just over 50. Now, Virginia Tech and the team that beat Virginia Tech among the one-loss teams, but at the moment, no one really seems to be considering either the ACC squads as the top one-loss teams. Alabama and Oregon have both already played LSU and lost. Oklahoma's blemish is the loss to Texas Tech, and sneaking around there, Bob Petrino's got the Hogs sitting there only with a loss to Alabama and an opportunity to play LSU head-to-head, maybe throw the SEC West into a three-way tie.
They're a team that's beaten LSU 3 of the last 4 years, so keep your eye on that game coming up in a couple weeks.
I like those trophy wins, though. Teams with records over 500, 5-5 for Oregon and Oklahoma. I like that.
Ooh. Wilson knocked down at the 35.
And I also like, listen for a moment, I'm going to go with Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a football team that if they win out, they will have beaten the #2 team in the country, Oklahoma State, right?
Yep.
They will say, hey, now I understand they've got the loss that everybody's pointing to at Texas Tech. It was a bad loss. But Texas Tech at that time was playing good football. Just like when Oklahoma beat Florida State early in the season, Florida State was a good football team. They had E.J. Manuel, knocked him out of the game, but you have to really evaluate these teams each and every week. And when you get to the end like that, Oregon, Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma, you have to look at the body of work and what it really meant week in and week out.
Wilson, David hasn't had a big night. You know, really, to be completely honest about this, those teams are all so close. It depends on which case you want to make, and you can find a little evidence to back it up. There's no perfect answer. Certainly when all the teams have similar resumes, there are some people who are going to want to see a rematch potentially if LSU is involved in the championship game. There are some who are going to try to avoid any rematch at all costs. There's no definitive answer to it. There's just what point you would like to support.
You know, it's like you just mentioned. You know, we've all seen LSU beat Oregon. We've all seen LSU beat Alabama. There may be a lot of voters that would give Oklahoma an opportunity to take a crack at the #1 team in the nation if, in fact, they beat Oklahoma State, particularly convincingly in a de facto Big 12 championship game here in a couple of weeks. It just, you know, you can't put yourselves in the minds of voters right now. A lot of hypotheticals.
But you know, the one thing I would say, if someone believes, as Craig seems to, that Oklahoma's the best team, that's fine. But I do not like the notion at all of voters trying to manipulate a certain matchup. Now, if you think Oklahoma's the best team, or Virginia Tech or Clemson, vote them there. That's fine. Yep. But don't try to manipulate the matchup.
But we all know that that's human nature. That there are a lot of voters out there who are going to look at this thing and want to figure out what they'd want to see. And you can make a case for Oregon. If you really look at who's playing very good right now, the Oregon Ducks and their defense, they impressed me the other night.
Keep in mind,
fast on defense, great on offense, lots of playmakers.
Here are the standings, by the way. Just take a look again. Yes.
Keep in mind also, a rematch isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. Back in 1996, the Florida Gators lost to Florida State in the final game of the regular season. And by divine intervention, they got rematched in the Sugar Bowl for the national championship game. And Florida pounded them. It wasn't even close. Who's to say if Alabama or Oregon got another crack at LSU, they wouldn't win, and win potentially convincingly? We don't know.
Hey, you know, Craig brought up the point that maybe it'll be Oklahoma State, the only unbeaten team. We watch this play. I'll continue the thought. A lot of pressure on Logan Thomas. The ball is knocked down. It was Kevin Reddick bringing the pressure. Paige Moss got his hand on it. You know, so much attention, and Alabama's defense is putting up numbers that are historically great. And LSU's defense has been getting praise and adulation from the first day of the season, the way they shut down Oregon's offense. But you start looking at some of the defensive numbers, and Georgia's defensive numbers have cranked up big time. And LSU, or whoever comes out of the SEC West, you thought that was going to be a gimme in the SEC championship game. It's not going to be a gimme. The Dogs are playing tremendous defense right now, and their offense is coming along. So it's not quite as clear a path for whoever escapes that SEC West, and LSU has the inside track at the moment. Bryn Renner. Jones across the middle. Jones still on his feet and fighting for extra yardage. And with under 4 minutes to go, now North Carolina has to show a great sense of urgency right now. Move the ball down the field. They only have one timeout remaining as well. It might have influenced their decision to try the onside kick earlier, though I agree with you, Jesse. Typically, it's a little early for that.
Way too early for that.
Renner, a lot of time, and a wide open receiver. Highsmith on the run, inside the 20. Can he get to the end zone? He can't, but it'll be 1st and goal for North Carolina, and the Tar Heels have life.
Bryn Renner is prepared at quarterback. John Shoup says he's the hardest worker he's ever coached in the NFL or in college. Reading defenses, understanding where to go with the football. Look at Highsmith here in the slot running the smash route. That's a bust by the defense. Renner's able to find him for the big play. This football game not over.
One of the first busts we've seen by Virginia Tech's secondary in this entire game. They have been running routes alongside the hips of the wide receivers. Now they're down here. They need a quick score, quick strike right now, and a playmaker. Now the last time that they gave it to Houston, he fumbled down in this area. Let's see if he can get it in the house.
Houston reaching for the goal line, and he'll be stopped just short. It is one of the first busts we've seen tonight, but the Virginia Tech defense this season has been vulnerable. They've given up several big pass plays. In fact, they ranked 79th in the country, giving up pass plays of 30 yards or longer. They've been hit with 2 70-yarders this season, and that last one a 64-yarder, which has set up this opportunity on 2nd and goal. Houston has it back. He goes low and burrows his way into the end zone, and the Tar Heels with the extra point are going to be within 3.
See Bud Foster very angry on the sidelines. Big coverage bust earlier on that drive. Not able to bow up here on the goal line on this touchdown run by Ryan Houston. You see the left guard, Jonathan Cooper. He gets way outside. Ryan Houston not trying to follow him.
No, smart, wise, because it happens bang, bang, and you got to beat someone. No penetration by Virginia Tech that time, and a good job by North Carolina's offensive line getting it in the house.
Very important extra point for the Tar Heels, and it's through. And now North Carolina, I know they've had some kind of struggles with field goals this year, but they are within a field goal. And North Carolina, if not for some significant missed opportunities, you see Eric Highsmith, who made a tremendous run after the catch. This is one of the missed opportunities earlier. Carolina was driving to go up 14-0 when Houston fumbled. Moore has not had a good night kicking. It hasn't been a good season place kicking for North Carolina. Missed a couple of field goals. Dwight Jones made a big catch. It was waved off because of offensive pass interference. And then when Jaron Hosley muffed a punt, there's nobody in white to get it. The breaks had gone Virginia Tech's way throughout the night, but the last one just went Carolina's way and might have us a finish in the last 2:32.
They'll look at the film if they lose this game and be really disappointed. And the thing that for me though, when I sit back right now at this point in the ball game, most pleased that I saw North Carolina pick it back up, because they had one series where they went in the tank and they were not giving it effort.
They've been fighting all game long. And remember, this is a team coming off a shutout loss against their in-state rival, NC State, 2 weeks ago. They could have been hanging their heads. They've had mistakes. They haven't always executed, but they've been fighting. There's been tremendous effort all the way to the end.
And I would change the onside kick look that they tried the last time. It was a horrible effort. I'd bound this ball, get the double bounce.
Well, that's what they tried to do. He does get the bounce this time, and Carolina's got it. Now the question is going to be whether it went 10 yards or not.
I don't think it did.
Nope.
And the officials say it didn't. And that is another just missed opportunity for North Carolina.
All right.
Well, that was just short, less than a yard short. Let's see how close it was.
Just got to be patient. Now the front lines are going to block. You see Virginia. It's clearly touched before it went 10 yards. Now you're taught on the hands team, make a decision. Go get the football.
Great job of the hands by Charles Brown, cornerback, catching the football off the skip. Just not the right distance. So here, now is the defense for North Carolina. You've had some stops the last couple series now. This football game not over yet. You get a 3 and out right now. put the football back in the hands of Bryn Renner, give your team a chance with 1 timeout to go, drive down the field and get a score.
It was accurately called on the field, it appears, as Charles Brown got those hands up there from his standpoint, and you got to grab it. I mean, it's moving fast, but if you've been able to let it go just a little longer, there was really no one there to stop him. No. It's interesting to watch the different strategies that teams employ in terms of fielding the onside kick. You know, some even have everybody retreat around the ball to make the kicking team have to go through a wave of players. It's a strategy that Lou Holtz always employed, rather than having some go block and some go after the ball. Al Golden from Miami told us earlier this year that he had guys freeze on an onside kick against North Carolina and not do their jobs. And David Wilson trying to turn the corner and put it away. Wilson stays in bounds to keep that clock running, and a big run for Wilson gets it inside the 20-yard line.
It's one thing to be straight ahead fast. It's another thing to be able to run the curves. Watch how fast Wilson's able to turn the corner on a broken containment by North Carolina.
They're able to get that edge because they brought an extra offensive lineman on the field. Left tackle Andrew Lanier lined up outside the tight end Chris Dreger to help seal that edge for David Wilson. Really the first time tonight we've seen them get a clean edge around the outside. I think they have that same personnel in the huddle right now.
Well, Wilson has 80 yards on the night, 20 short of 100. He was going for his 8th straight 100-yard rushing game, which would tie Tiki Barber as an ACC record. Wilson going to lose a few of those 80. Quentin Coples was back there first.
Quentin Coples had to play defensive tackle last year, and playing inside helped him learn to deal with double teams and beating those double teams. You're going to see him here at the bottom of the screen. Get pushed inside, just use the knife, find his way into the backfield with body leverage. Playing defensive tackle, I think, has made him a better defensive end, believe it or not.
Well, but you know what's going to happen is the versatility of an athlete like that when he gets to Sundays. That's why he's so well respected and such a highly rated prospect that's coming out. Tonight, he's played well. He's just a quiet guy. His demeanor is quiet, but he was able to get in and make some plays on Logan Thomas. We haven't seen many people bring Logan Thomas down ever. And then the pursuit from behind on David Wilson earlier, that was aggressive.
He's a high-effort player, and he's understood this season that by garnering more attention from opposing offenses, frees up his teammates to make big plays. Zach Brown at linebacker has made a lot of plays this year because of double teams on Copel.
David Wilson's got to hold on to the football.
I think North Carolina would like to have those timeouts back right now. Wilson punches it inside, and the clock is headed toward 90 seconds. Tar Heels had some confusion in the red zone earlier in the second half, had to burn a timeout.
I think North Carolina would like to have back about 10 plays in this football game. We just showed you the missed opportunities earlier. I mean, it's just they just couldn't capitalize when they were given the chance.
At the same token, give Virginia Tech, Frank Beamer, a lot of credit. He takes so much pride in this record of 8 straight seasons with at least 10 wins, tying Miami for the 3rd longest streak in the modern era. They're never 2 up, 2 down, always very steady. It goes from Frank Beamer all the way down to Logan Thomas in this team.
Wilson hits short. It'll bring up a 4th down and be about a 9-second discrepancy between play clock and the game clock. Our Wrangler 5-star player of the game on senior night, the all-time leading receiver in the history of Virginia Tech football, Jarrett Boykin. 10 catches, that's a career high, 106 yards. Boykin able at times when Virginia Tech couldn't run the football. He caught quick screens in the quick game, and it sort of functioned as a run.
He also did a very good job without the football tonight, I thought. Did some good job on decoy routes, but he blocked particularly well downfield when they were throwing some of those quick screens out to Danny Cole. Made that big reception down the sideline.
I'd like to also, Danny Cole, it's senior night here. You know, props out to him. I've really enjoyed watching Danny Cole play his career here at Virginia Tech.
9 seconds away. Virginia Tech used a timeout. And on senior night, here is big number 81. Those triple XL gloves, routinely busts through those, makes a great block to free his buddy Danny Cole, and then is the recipient of a couple of nice blocks.
Showing you those strong hands on these catches, whether it's running underneath routes, running deep down the field. Virginia Tech had a lot of issues running the football inside tonight against this physical, athletic defensive front of North Carolina. So Mike O'Kane, play calling, very wisely decided to spit the football outside to these wide receivers in space as an extension of the sweep play. It was a very, very good, I think, scheme in this football game, taking advantage of Jared Boyk and his athleticism.
You know, this senior class, assuming they hang on and get this 41st victory, they would be just one short of being the winningest class in Virginia Tech history. The 07, 08, and 2010 classes won 42 games, and the Hokies have a great opportunity to eclipse that record. Thomas going to try to run some time off the clock. He's going to be sacked, and North Carolina is at least going to have a chance. Trey Boston came back and got Thomas on the ground quickly. So there's a chance.
But that chance ever so slim. At least they got the ball back. But you go back and again think about all of the number of plays in the second half alone that North Carolina didn't get done, and you know this, and not having also Giovani Bernard back there, their explosiveness.
They fought. I want to offenses practice situations like this throughout the week. End of game, last chance plays with laterals designed inside the scheme of this play. Expect maybe a short completion and some crossing routes and laterals.
You got to get lucky.
But they practice it.
And there is the short pass, but it was incomplete. The clock strikes 0, then Frank Beamer gets career victory number 250. He's all alone in 8th place on the all-time wins list. He is atop the leaderboard in terms of wins among active coaches. Beamer wins his 10th for the 8th straight year, and the Hokies clinch at least a share of the ACC Coastal. Only a win or a Virginia loss away from returning to the ACC championship game. They've won it 4 times in 7 years in the league, and hoping to get a chance to make it 5 out of 8. So Virginia Tech has to withstand a big rally late from North Carolina. They hang on to win it 24-21.